which is going to be something really nice for all of us to actually talk about. And I kind of think that the guys from Blender Foundation are doing me some very cool good by giving me a gift on that particular day, which is Blender 2.9. So Blender 2.9 will be available. If you want to read more about this schedule and see several things that have been proposed for this particular box print, link is going to be in the description where you can catch these things and also start getting good with it. Now, while we're talking about things going on, a day before this was updated, Tom Rizzendale made a public cancellation of Blender Conference 2020, and this is due to the present pandemic that is happening all over the world, and it is with deep regret that he's actually doing this right now. There is also a blog post to this, just in case you want to read these things. You can, go ahead and see this for yourself. As I really wish, that this particular pandemic didn't happen within this time, and it would have been good to have another beautiful conference. And this is not only affecting the conference that we're having right now, there is also some sort of conversation if the 2021 conference is even going to hold. So he's going on to say that until things gets back to normal, it simply means that the early conference in spring 2021 is being postponed until further notice. So we just simply have to keep our fingers crossed and believe that things will get back to normal as soon as possible. But in light of all of these things going on, there is a beautiful release of Blender 2.83.2. So this is the second installment of the LTS version of Blender 2.83. And this is like the very first time that we're having a long-time support. And just last week, we also reported that if you're working with Steam, if you're working with some other third parties, you would be able to get the Blender 2.83.1 release. Although at the point of recording this, I don't really think, I don't know if it is available on Steam right now. The previous version is available on Steam, which is Blender 2.83.1, so you can get that there. But 2.83.2, if you want to get it, you can simply come right here and get it. And for the LTS, of course, you can see some of the fixes, and some of them are here. There is also going to be a link to some of the other fixes, just in case you haven't seen them. So in case you're looking for fixes for Blender 2.83.1, I'm also going to put a link in the description for you guys to see that. So these are the fixes for this one. And if you want to see an overview of the updates that will be happening with Blender 2.83 and 2.9 all the way to 3.7, there is a link in the description that talks more about the long-term support program that the guys from Blender Foundation are looking forward to, giving everyone. So a huge shout out to guys from Blender Foundation for making this one available. And with these beautiful things said, let us dive into one of the most interesting parts of the weekly rundown. Actually, before we even talk about one of the cool things that you're going to see, or one of the cool updates that is now available with Blender 2.9, let's give a very short shout out to a wonderful Blender creator known as Lyric Bars. So I went over to Twitter and I found out that this guy actually has an amazing tool which you can download from Gumroad. I'm still thinking maybe we should do a review about this, play with it and see how you can work with it, as this tool by default is an add-on which he has created to actually help anyone work directly in their viewport and edit UVs on the fly. So this would definitely make a lot of sense, as it is a tool that would simply automate the UV mapping and also give you some super fast mode of working with your UV directly in Blender. He has a couple of contributors here, and if you want to see more about this, I'm going to put a link in the description for you guys, just in case you want to test this thing out. Alright, so this time we're going to dive directly into Blender and take a look at a couple of features, some things that you guys will be able to try out now if you have Blender 2.9. At the point of recording, some of these things are actually not there yet. Some of them are still set to be commit, so they are not available in Blender. But obviously over time some of them are going to be there. The Alembic has a brand new exporter which is based on the USD, and we already talked about the whole thing going on with Blender Foundation and the guys at Tangent Lab. Yep, so this one is cool. And at the same time, we've already talked about the pose brush. This is something that Pablo Dubaro is actually working on, and we mentioned this last week, as this now has an option to affect loose path. On the other hand, there are updates to both the outliner and also several overrides. Now, some of these things are still being committed, so you might probably not be able to play with them, but some are actually here, and I will simply go ahead and show you guys. The very first one which I'd like to share with you guys is the UV Rip tool. So with Blender open, if you simply take a look at this default cube, Once we go through and press tab on our keyboard, you would notice we already have a rip tool that is living right here. It's living and breathing, doing everything it has to do, and it only works with, you know, a default edit mode. All right, but now they have found a way to port this over to UV. So if you simply select a particular point, you can rip this part off. All right, so I would go ahead and select somewhere else like this and rip this part off, select something like that and rip this part off. So just in case you want to unwrap a model directly in 3D, this tool will do this right here. So you can rip this and, you know, do several stuff. It doesn't matter how you want to get it going, because you can simply select the edges as well and you can rip the edges apart. So really, really nice. Now, if you're thinking about how does this apply to UV as one of the implementation that is now available in Blender, how you can do this is simple. I'll just simply move over here, select this, go over to the section called UV, and with this selected, once I press the tab key on the keyboard, make sure I have my faces, select this and tap A and click right here. So I can simply select this right now and lose a part. Meanwhile, let's go through and make sure we have this selected. Cool. So with this here, I would switch over to a face. Let's select a different face, select this, and I can lose this part. I can select this right here and I can rip this apart. So if you're looking forward to ripping your UVs, this makes sense. I mean, you can choose to rip these UVs by edges, and you can also choose to rip them by vertices. If you switch over to edges, you can select a particular edge like this, select the rip tool, and you can rip this apart. So in line with the UV, there is also an update that deals with the correct face attributes. Now this works regardless of textures or color vertices. This just simply works. Oh, how this works is simple. I mean, if you try to go over to the Blender meeting notes, or maybe just simply search, you might probably not see this, but then I will show you guys. So you know all of those times where you just want to stretch things and you want the face to align properly with the UV or the textures? Yeah. So how this works is, by default, let's actually drag in a texture for clarity so we can get some sort of visual feedback while we're working with this. So going over to this section, which is the shader editor, I'm getting a brick texture which you downloaded off the internet. I'm going to connect this over to the base, and now if I switch over to the shading, you can see that we have this here. Now where do you find the correct face attribute? You find this around here, and you can only find this once you press tab on your keyboard and you're within the edit mode. This is when you can find that. All right, so we will try out what this does before and after, so you guys can have a good idea of how these things actually work. So first things first, we'll select the vertex and select just this part, and then we will transform. Let's transform this to see what we have. All right, this doesn't look bad. If I also push this, you can see we're having some distortion. I would also go ahead and select an edge. So let's select this edge, and you can see, all right, that doesn't look bad now, does it? Of course it does. Okay, so what happens if we simply go here and click on correct face attributes? So it is going to correct the attributes of either the UV or either the colors or the textures while you're transforming this object. So a very clear example is if you select an edge now and you move, isn't this clean? Tell me this is not clean. All right, you can also select this and you can move this over to that part. Let's also get this one going, and this is just beautiful. I would also proceed to select the separate part. Just simply make sure that you have this turned on while you're doing that, and you can get some pretty cool alignment and get a very cool visual feedback while you're working with this. So this makes sense. All right, so contrary to what you're having once you have these things turned off, let's go ahead and try that again. So contrary to what you're having like this, you can simply have some pretty cool face attribution when you're working with this, and this works regardless of vertex, edges, or face. So depending on what you want to get, you can definitely get these things working. And while we are still talking about things that works, there is an update to the ocean modifier. So just in case you don't know, there is an ocean modifier that exists directly in Blender. Let's simply get rid of this and bring this all the way down. So this ocean modifier actually converts any object to some sort of ocean, regardless of what shape you have. Like right now I have this, I can go over to the modifier, click right here, go over to this section called ocean, and boom, we have ourselves a beautiful ocean. So with this now, You can simply, repeat this ocean if you want. You can play with the time, play with the warping. But right now we are seeing that there is an update coming to this, which is known as exposing the end vectors and using these things as map. This within the time of recording hasn't been available yet, but if you want to see more about this, you can go over to the link which is going to be in the description and read more about this. And there is a cool example of how this would work. So if I simply click right here, you can start noticing that you can simply generate some stuff and you'll be able to use these things to drive the ocean modifier. So if you want to see more about these things, link is going to be in the description for you guys, and I would also go ahead and show you guys a preview of what this actually looks like. So this is some of the cool features. Some other features that were also talked about, which we've already covered. So just in case you're wondering why is it that we've already covered some of these things, we kind of cover most of these things before the guys from Blender Foundation actually puts them as documented stuff, or before they discuss them within the meetings. So that is the main reason why we kind of get this news quite early. So we've already talked about the updates to the color filter, which now has a fill, and we've also talked about the updates to the mask by color, and we talked about these things last week. And in case you don't know how that works, is also pretty simple. So we can dive right from here, go over to the sculpting section, and we also said that there is a couple of updates right here. So with the color filter, we made mention of the fill, which is now a brand new feature that you can work with. So we also said that whenever you want to start working with this, you need to come right here and convert this to vectors. So depending on what you're trying to work on, depending on what you're trying to create, you can easily have access to any of these new features and start working with them directly here in Blender. So this is definitely going to be about it. More and more feature updates will be coming over to Blender soon, and we will do our best to cover most of them. And that's about it. I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Of course, we're not so happy that there's not going to be a Blender conference this year, but probably this pandemic actually dies down and there should be one sometime next year. On the other hand, I'm very excited to see that Blender 2.83.2 is now here. So if you're working for production, if you're using Blender as a production tool, you'll find comfort using this tool, as most of the bugs that were not fixed with Blender 2.83.1 are now being fixed. So if you're excited about the new features as well, I would strongly suggest that you go ahead and try them. And on the other hand, if you're also excited about the whole pose brush and also the sculpting feature, the UV rip feature, tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. And if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And if you're new,
以及我会讲什么呢？罗老师的这个咖啡滤器的作品，我跟罗老师最近都碰到的一些问题。这一集的内容啊，会稍微比较沉闷一点。那如果你希望这集影片可以让你很开心的话，可以现在就关掉。如果想要多了解一下我们心里在想什么，可以继续把影片看下去，好不好？开始。凡客湖最早呢是在德国那边做出来的，这个历史呢其实是很悠久的，已经从1899年开始一直到现在。因为我们最近要做虎记小杯嘛，所以我们就找一些陶艺家，我们就遇到这个在三义的砌陶郎罗老师。
你是要足角的，还是像这圆圆润润？
我们就看到这个，它就是参考凡客壶的原理去做的。那凡客壶它在冲的时候呢，这有洞洞的，这是盖子，这是中间的，所以你就是这样盖上来，然后咖啡是放在最下面这一层，就洞洞这一层。然后研磨的时候，我们就用比手冲稍微细一点点的刻度去做。我觉得他做浅焙的特别厉害。 加水的时候呢，你就直接定量的加就可以了，操作起来很容易啊。当然啦，因为它这个不用滤纸嘛，不用滤纸的话，这个是一定会有渣渣的啊。如果你很在意，你就像我们一样啊，两个壶这样对倒过来，然后渣渣留在前面的壶就可以了，然后这样就可以喝了嘛。所以操作其实非常简单了哈。然后这个罗老师啊，我们其实年纪相当啊，他比我小1岁而已。啊，你看他这个弓啊，陶瓷在烧制的过程哦，它会有一定的收缩，啊，所以我们做的时候是大一点，然后做好以后呢，它会缩小一些。让我很佩服的点在于说，它可以让这3件的组合这么的紧密嘛，这个功夫是蛮了得的。所以接下来如果我们的小杯交给他，我也是非常安心啦。我觉得，其实今天凡客壶只是一个引子啦哈，我觉得应该跟大家聊一下关于这个我们要珍惜这个创作者或者是手作人的这个概念。就是说我们在讨论的过程中哈，这个罗老师也是说，他其实是有遇到一些被抄袭的问题啦，会去问他，哎，你怎么模仿我的作品这样子？对方给他回答是说，没有啊，我是参考凡客壶的啊，而且我改良你的作品啊，这样子。当然他的概念是凡客壶那边来的，但他花很多心思去改良他的作品嘛。那很多辛苦的地方是大家看不到的，比如说下面这个孔洞啊，有300多个洞，太干你钻不动，对不对？太软的话，一钻它会变形的。所以我很佩服他的想法啦。这件事情其实我们还蛮有共鸣点的啦。那他辛辛苦苦的去创作一个东西，那他的本意是什么？我觉得这个比较重要。当然，他希望把他的作品融入到生活里面嘛。那既然它是咖啡的器材，他就必须要让咖啡出来的风味可能更有它这个壶的特色啊。我们拍影片或者是可能烘焙啊，或者是想一些配方啊这些，我觉得是很多时候哈，这些想法是时间的累积，然后或者是我们会专注在这一块上面。所以你知道，做手艺的人或者创作者啊，你会常常发现这些人都是怪人，对不对？怪怪的。为什么你觉得他怪怪的？因为他的脑袋里面装的可能是他这个作品要怎么做，他会没有时间去顾及到太多人际之间的关系，这么全神贯注在自己的作品上面，我们这个世界才会出现这么棒的东西，对不对？所谓致敬跟抄袭、剽窃之间的差别是说，罗老师用他的理解跟他的做陶的20-30年的经验，去转化成他的作品，这我觉得是对凡客壶的一个致敬。啊，那抄袭的人通常会觉得说，哎，我小改了你哪里，我就比你厉害。可是你忽略一件事情是，别人前面付出的各种心血，或者他因为这么专注而损失掉的，比如说人际关系，比如说他的生命、他的时间，这些是你没有办法体会到的。后面抄袭罗尔老师的人的话，我就觉得是一种剽窃。 所以我觉得啦，我们应该要爱惜这些手艺的人，爱惜这些创作者，知道吗？因为我们最近也遇到一些事情是，怎么讲，不是很愉快的事情啦，比如说，你会发现有些人用我们的影片去做他自己的生意可是我并没有授权当然，如果你认为我们的影片是一个很好的参考资料，我当然是欢迎分享。可是，如果你分享的方式是用一张截图去以偏概全的，好像贬低我嘛，那这样就失去我的本意了嘛，对不对？那我的本意是什么呢？我们拍这些影片比如说有些器材、有些实验、有些咖啡的做法，种种的，我的出发点真的是只是为了说，希望喜欢咖啡的每一个人，不管你是店家还是你是消费者，你都可以有一些新的想法，或者知道一些新的东西，或者是我们自己的经验的分享，这是我的本意，让这个咖啡的世界变得更有趣。不管是任何人你都应该去尊重其他的创作者。致敬跟抄袭跟剽窃是不一样的事情，好不好？做生意要有道义，好不好？我说实在，我跟罗老师一样啦，我们真的也没有太多的时间去关注在这些事情上面，所以你知道每一次发现的时候，其实我们心里是蛮受伤的，就觉得自己的作品好像被糟蹋了。那这个作品又是我们这么爱的一个东西。
电的话就纯粹就是热辐射嘛，直接上升到你要的温度，然后持温就结束了。那瓦斯我们会到800-900度的时候就进瓦斯，然后它会燃烧里面的氧气。那缺氧的情况之下，它就会去烧胚体里面的氧气。那在这烧的过程当中，它就会呈现缺氧的状态。就是我们讲的还原烧。
还原烧。
对。
虎记小杯我们现在正在请罗老师打样当中。我觉得他是一个我可以信任的陶艺家。这里面的釉色跟外面的釉色，这个颜色的搭配是我喜欢的。外面叫焦糖，里面叫奶油，可不可爱？很可爱那当然我们有定了容量或者是我们虎字要放 logo 的地方。只是说，你知道慢工出细活嘛约莫打样的时间会需要2个月左右。当打样出来，我们还会需要再一次的讨论，说最后我们要做比较大量的样子会是怎么样？会比这个小很多但颜色是像这样。希望到时候大家会喜欢了，好不好？接下来小杯有什么进度，我会再跟大家报告。如果你喜欢陶艺，喜欢陶的东西，有去到3义也可以去那个七陶廊那边玩一玩他们都很好客，很棒的。然后那个七陶廊的相关链接我会放在说明文里面，好不好？其实我们很多器材不一定要卖啦，我觉得。我们拍很多器材，很多时候我只是希望大家能够知道说，原来还有这样的东西这么可爱，还有那样的东西这么厉害，好不好？咖啡世界这样宽广的。拜拜，切。其实我觉得蛮无奈的你知道我们做影片是10分钟左右的长度， 里面我说了很多话。那你知道，如果你截一张图，然后断章取义的去解读我做的影片，我觉得对我来说非常的不公平啊！而且影片的截图上面有我的脸呢。你知道所有的媒体需要转发我们的影片，都是需要书面上的授权吗？我觉得这是基本尊重啦。你应该是要让你传达的对象可以自己体会的，这样你对这个创作者来说才是真的公平的。做一个影片，我们大概要花5到6个小时，截一张图写一些屁话，可能花你3分钟，你就可以糟蹋掉一个人的努力了，你知道吗？至少把我们店名写对嘛。这个给小梅的，超爱耶，超爱，超级爱，真的好喝是不是？不一样哦。我都想喝喝看了，这个柚料是不是很棒？这几点啊，我希望啦，每个在创业的人啊，尤其是网红，更应。
Hello there, my name is Ismas, and today I want to show you how to mix different textures using one single image texture under one single material. For example, if say you had this ground surface and you had grass and asphalt and maybe rocks that you want to be on the same surface, this is how you could do something like that. So what we're going to be doing here, this is usually something you would see in game development where people are, where you just painting different strokes to reveal different textures. So let's load in some of those textures so that you can see what I'm talking about here. So let me just go to my textures here, image texture, and import. Let's see, what textures do I have? Let's see. And this can work for materials as well. But for now, let me just first show you how you can use this to mix different textures. So we have this rock surface. So we want a path, a rock path, and then maybe some grass and maybe a different material and maybe a different material as well, like 4 different textures on one surface and in one material. Let's get this wood as well, and then we find some, these bricks, and lastly let's find some grass. If I can find that, grass. And for good measure, let's add another one for this rust. So we want to blend all these 3 elements, and every time I paint somewhere, I want a different material, not randomly, but depending on the color I choose, I want a different material, a different texture to be painted. So let's also set up a new texture, image texture, that we're going to use as the texture paint. Make sure the resolution is high enough so that, because we want to, if depending on the size of your texture, the size of your surface, you want to increase the texture width and height to match that, so that you don't have a lot of, so that you have a high quality mask. So I'm just going to click OK. Now with this selected, I can even preview it by using Ctrl Shift and then clicking the node. Make sure the node wrangler add-on is enabled for you to access that shortcut. And then we can go to the texturing. Just change this to texture paint, and you can see all the textures that we want to paint on are listed here. And I'm just going to rename these so that I can easily find it. So I'm going to call this paint mask. And what we want to do is assign each of these textures a different color, so that when we paint a stroke of that color, that texture is revealed. So for the first one, which is this rock surface, I'm just going to select maybe a greenish color, and let me switch back to my mask, paint that. You can see that's the green. And for this wood, let's find this blue. Just paint that. This let me go with the red. You don't want the colors to be closely. You don't want them to be very resemble. You don't want them to resemble. So, for example, you don't want to paint red. You don't want to use green, this kind of green, and a yellow that looks close to it, because it's going to be very hard for you. So for this grass, let's find something like, you know what? Let's first try out this, and then we can add in more there. So now with our paint mask setup, so I can just use a color ramp so that I can convert these values into black and white values. And if you play with this slider here, you can see you're able to hide and reveal some of the mask depending, some of the strokes are depending on their color. So for example, if I change this to a yellow, you can see it gives you a different shade. But because, as I said, you don't want to use colors that are closer on the wheel. So this green, you don't want to use green and yellow, because you can see when you look at the black and white image, they almost look identical. You want things that are on the opposite side. You can see this is distinctively different from this shade. That's what we want to use. So now, since I say, for example, I want only this to show and hide all the others, I just have to find that range on my so because this is yellow and this is green, they are too close for them to be hidden individually. So but if you, okay, so I guess around here you can you're able to hide just the yellow. So maybe we can use the yellow and green separately, but let's see if we can hide the yellow only. Now, yeah, the problem would be to hide the yellow and reveal the green. So you don't use colors that are very close on the color wheel. So now, okay, so now to use this to show only the rock surface, I can just use a color mix RGB, feed this into color 1, and then use this mask we have just created as the factor. And now maybe we want this to be in color 2, so that this rock only appears in that area. So now I know that when I want to paint yellow or green, I'm going to be painting the rock. And now we also have this wooden surface. I can just reuse this color ramp, just bring it here. I want it to be from this. And so we want now the blue strokes to paint this wood surface. So let's do that by finding where we can, by locating that, by revealing only that. So I'm just going to cut away that. So now I can add another node here, make it black, so that I can cut out the white areas here. Let me first reset this color ramp. Convert color ramp. Connect this directly, and want to only cut out this area here, so I can just find that. You have to play with these. Sometimes they can be a bit confusing, but just I can make this dark as well. play with the nodes until you see that the right color is being revealed. Okay, let me first reset this because I'm finding it again. So I know that this is a bit darker, so let's try inverting this. Let me look at how this color looks. So it's blue, and all the others, you know, it seems that the color ramp is not going to work very nicely here. So there are a lot of tools we can use here. There are a lot of other tools we can use. So since this blue is not really behaving very nicely, what we can do is separate it from all the other colors by using the convert separate RGB. Now feed this into that. Have red, green, and this should be just blue. Yeah, you can see now that's much better. Sometimes you have to switch different, find different tactics, because now the color ramp wasn't working. I had tested it out on other colors, not blue, but blue was causing a few problems. And yeah, I think this separate RGB color can also really be useful for you in this case, in case you're not able to isolate the color you want. You can see now we are able to isolate the blue by using the separate color. You can see we have this blue and this here, and it's being revealed with this here. And I also have these lines here that I think are red, so we can remove that by using a color ramp, so that we're just seeing the blue colors. Now I can just use this here as the factor and feed in our second texture. Now whenever I paint that blue, I'll be painting that, and whenever I'm painting, I don't remember which color it was. I think it was okay, let me first blend these two here. So I've just used Control Shift and then right drag to add in this mix node. So I can just mix these. Let's try overlay. Yeah, now I know if I want to paint, I think it was wood, I can use blue, and yellow I can paint this I don't know what this material here, the rock surface, and you can layer these more. So I can also isolate a different color here. So let me find another color ramp. And again, if the color ramp refuses to work, just use the separate RGB, or try finding a different node here. You can also try map range, clamp. There are a lot of different nodes you can use here. So I want to isolate red. The separate RGB is the best way to separate these three colors: red, blue, and green. But if you're going to paint something like yellow in that mix, then you can use the color ramp. So let's see where is red here. So this stroke here, isolating that, we can, yeah, I think this is also going to be a bit difficult here, because I'm seeing, yeah, so I guess let's just use, if the color you want to separate is on the RGB, a separate RGB node, just use that Otherwise, you will have to do a lot of tweaking to find that color. So now I'm just separating the red. Now I can add a color ramp to add in to separate, to remove these extra colors that are coming through. You can see, okay, it seems that I will still have some yellow coming through. Oh, yeah. So I think, okay, this is going into color theory, which wasn't the topic of this. I think yellow is a mix of green and red. So we can separate, we can subtract the green from the red by adding a convert math node and subtract. So this is our red. If we subtract the green, I'm not really sure because I haven't tested this out, but I'm sure this is supposed to work like that. Then maybe we can just add a math node here just to play with the value we want to cut out. You can see now we have removed all the red, that all the other colors are from there. So if you have any issues, you can try a combination of these. Again, we had an issue with, let's try with blue and see. Since blue is a primary color, I'm not sure. Again, this is turning into a color theory tutorial, but yeah. Okay, if you want to subtract the yellow from the red, just follow the setup I've used here. I'm not repeating this tutorial because it's already confusing enough. But then since we have our red, we can use that again as another texture. So it would be for our brick. Feed that as color 2 and then blend this with this using overlay again. You can see, overlay. We can try. This is supposed to be 0.5. Now we can paint the red back. We can paint red to reveal bricks. Yellow. Was it yellow? I think it was. Okay, I'm not sure which color was this. Okay, we had blue for the wood and yeah, and then green for the concrete. And you can see a blend of these colors. So for example, we have yellow and green. So if you put if you select this color between the two, you will have a blend of the two. So for example, we have red and blue. Okay, we can't really get a mix of, I think around here, a mix of red and blue should give us a combination of the rock surfaces and the brick surface and the wood surface, as you can see there. Yeah, so that's how you mix different. I'm sorry, this was a bit, we had an issue here with the blend color, but that's the thing about tutorials. You never really get it right, no matter how many times you try, you attempt it. But I think that was also a good tangent to explain how you can mix or subtract different colors from another color, and I think it worked out very, very nicely. Again, red is just bricks. Yeah, thank you for watching.
Hola community, it's Paulo Vasquez here with another episode of Blender Today live from Amsterdam. It's kind of summer here. We are back with the questions, another week of questions. We are gonna be splitting this show, if you haven't followed lately, into the new features of Blender throughout the week in smaller videos, and then the questions in here in this weekly meeting. These meetings, at some point, they're gonna migrate towards the Blender Studio, Blender Animation Studio, because that's where the magic happens. At the moment, I'm still doing it at home, so yeah, it's harder to get guests. So no guests today. It's just me, it's just us though. It's just not just me, us. All right, let's get to it. There's 20 questions. We're gonna be try to answer most of them. So let's get to it. Let's ASMR. No, I'm not. I don't have the voice for that. So first question. You, that ninja. Hello. How are you? How's it going? When undo system will stop undoing interface changes like pivot point, transform orientations, proportional editing, snapping, brush settings, etc. It's very frustrating when performing an action and then undo that settings. I actually asked the developer that that made the undo better in 2.83. That effort is actually like the entire team basically, but mainly it was one developer. And I asked him about it, and he says, yes, that is it's a known issue. It's not a walk in the park to fix it, and it's probably now more obvious because the other undo is like the undo of the entire Blender is faster now. So now it's getting more eyes the other side of the undo. What You That Ninja is saying is that unfortunately, since many versions, since I don't know, very many years ago, there are some UI level changes that get undone, such as, for example, when you like say you move the object here and you change the pivot point to, instead of rotating from this point, from the center of the object, moving it to the this cursor. So if you change it with the dot shortcut, and then I move it, and then I undo, you would expect the movement to be undone. Indeed, and done. But it's also undoing the pivot point, and that is very annoying when you pile those changes up. Yeah, like while you're using Blender, it gets very annoying. I personally, what I do is just I often just like do another step. So I like that. I know I shouldn't be saying workarounds, but that's the workaround I do personally. I just do another step of whatever, and then it will undo just that. That is a known issue. It will be fixed eventually, but right now we don't have enough developers. The developer that could work on this, many, like 3-4 core developers could take care of it, but like one is fixing the performance in making the subsurf faster, for example, OpenSubdiv. This other developer is working on library overrides and like asset management and all of that. Then the other developer is also speeding up cycles. It's like so many areas in Blender and so few people that could look into these things. So yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be like promoting right away like as an advertisement, but yeah, really, this is what makes Blender hire developers. So this is what the only thing that it can be done at the moment just to speed these things up is just to get more people involved. The second question. So I have my idea today. I had issues compiling Blender, and somebody here in the chat as well. But my idea for today was to have basically down here, like poking out a little Blender timeline that I would go from 0 to 20 and then go to like question number 2. And so I don't know, well, maybe it was a very stupid idea, but it was just so people watching from home can see when they see the video. It's like, okay, in which question? Maybe I could just also just add it to the stream itself. Anyway, let's see. I was gonna do it better than that, but I had issues compiling. There's something with OpenImage, the noise it's failing, but okay. Let's move on. Lapis C says, "Hi Paulo, the undisputed Blender thing. Thank you, and guests. I don't have any guests today. there came some really cool things out of SIGGRAPH, 2020. So one of them I took notice in specific is a soft body solver to rule them all. It has an open source C++ implementation under MIT license. I was wondering if things like this are to be considered for incorporation into the Blender solver family. So the first answer is like anything that is has a license, a permissive license, could be implemented. Again, papers like this, they come out from SIGGRAPH every single year. Every year there is new stuff. It's when the graphics community, like they show the work they're done, their investigations, and unfortunately, well, fortunately, actually, since most of these things are all like free for everybody to grab and use, many of those made it into Blender. Even some of them, I can't remember exactly which one, but I remember one case where it was added first to Blender than other commercial softwares, because Blender has this comes out in July, maybe a bit before that the paper is announced. Then Blender has a new release every 3-4 months. So for the big softwares to catch up, they release once a year, right? So they have to wait until the next year. So actually Blender, I don't remember which one, some SoftSurf, SSS, not sure. Anyway, it was a very good good case. This looks fantastic, looks amazing, and yay for more solvers. I hope that, I hope this could be implemented. Maybe in the case of the solvers, it's not too bad, but some of these awesome papers that you see from SIGGRAPH and stuff, they do look amazing, but it's a very controlled environment, the one some of these tests happen. In the solver it's different. If you can just shovel some data and then get back some data, maybe that's fine. Maybe you have to take care of like keeping the UVs and keeping the vertex color and the weight painting and all the vertex groups and the shape keys. Maybe it's when dealing with this kind of data, there's a lot more to take care of than just grabbing a paper and dropping it into Blender. But yeah, this case maybe could be considered. Actually, they shared, actually in the comments, maybe, okay, if you want to help this thing to happen, just saying, maybe why don't we use our community powers and we ask the people doing this to maybe make a prototype in Blender, right? Blender is open source. You can get the access to all the source code. So maybe that's a good idea. So maybe leaving in comments and saying, hey, will you awesome in Blender, and upvoting or something like that. Don't spam, please. Just as a good, just like, hey, it would be nice. Not the typical Blender fanboy, let's not be that. But yeah, just asking would be nice. Actually, Lapis C, this is absolutely amazing. I wonder if this kind of project is compatible, and this is what we should kind of be doing. Very, very nice. And then it should be possible to develop a Blender plugin for IPC. Right now we're working on why a Houdini? I mean, I guess it's an industry standard, so it makes sense. But yeah, anyway. They are making a plugin for Houdini. Maybe developing plugins for Blender is not as easy. Maybe that's I'm not a developer. I can't really say that about the status of making things for Blender, but maybe Blender, the Houdini SDK, whatever, is much more, I bet is much more developed for C plugins than Blender's. So yeah, what you can do usually is like what Lapis C did, which is asking the developers about it. When asking for like, hey, can we have Adobe something After Effects plugin for Blender? Like, we should ask them, not Blender, the people with the resources. In this case, I guess they don't have the resources, but they're smart. Hi everyone. Next question. Let's go to the question number 3 here. Hi everyone. I would like to know if Blender will have a Substance Painter-like alternative. It's probably one of the few things missing for me. I saw this workaround, and it seems that Blender could actually compete with Substance if someone works in it. Also, could you take a look at this summary of code? Let's see. So PBR texture painting from 2018 by Yana Jayanam. Are you guys subscribed to this channel? It's very, very nice, very like down to the point, even covers some Python stuff, and very, very nicely explained features. And here apparently he's doing some painting, PBR painting, which it actually, if you look at Blender's capabilities in terms of PBR and in showing and editing, and it's very capable of having a kind of Substance Painter like results, right? It's missing the tools though, and I only seen I have never used a Substance Painter. I only seen videos of it, and it looks like it really makes your life easier to make procedural stuff, to make things you can reuse. Maybe in the end you end up with more maps that you want, but having the flexibility for that, it's actually the Blender will have eventually. The developer of the sculpt section area in Blender, the miracle human being of Pablo Dobarro, he's working on Vertex Paint in Sculpt Vertex Paint, which is much faster. It has more tools, more integrations with the rest of the sculpting tools, and the goal is to have him working. He's actually the module owner of the Blender Sculpt module in Blender. So it's called Texture and Paint. So I bet there are really good things coming from there. We could look at it in the developer.blender.org. Blender developer.org, and there should be Sculpt, Paint, and Texture here. So in here, you're gonna see that this module, it has its own Blender chat, it has its own section, it has some of a little bit of a roadmap. Brush management, cloth brush is getting almost done. Multi-resolution work is being done until 2.91, and then Sculpt Vertex Paint plus brush management. This brush management depends partially on the asset manager itself. So yeah, it's everything is tied together. So the sun is changing so much, I'm getting blown out. Hello Pablo, I love your shirt. Can I have it? I'm afraid not, because this is a Blender Conference 2016 t-shirt. So every year, no, 2017, every year except this year, we have a Blender conference, at least one Blender conference in Amsterdam, and we make graphics for it. And this one was made by Andy Goralczyk, director of Spring, and he's working at the Institute since forever. He also made for other years like these animals and creatures, and every year we make t-shirts. So we can do this kind of happy I don't know, stuff. You know why is it a B? It's for BCon, Blender Conference. And also because it's of the hexagon, and the Blender Foundation logo is as an hexagon with many hexagons. Did you know? The more you know. All right, next. I actually like that I can expand a little bit on some of these questions and just hang out with you. When is the 2.9 release? Asks a boy 157. If you want, you can go to blender.org/dashboard. This is an easy to remember. Blender.org/dashboard. It's gonna take you to these live streams, or the press releases, developer notes, or when it's what is the current release. If you're lost about what is the latest release, this is 283.2 actually, and Blender 2.90 is coming out August 2020. You can read more here. If you click on schedule, you're gonna get the full list of dates when we're preparing the release, when is the final release, if everything's all right. Do you know, by the way, that there's a new Blender LTS update that came out this week? Yesterday, actually. Blender 2.83.2 is out, so if you were having some issues with 2.83, you should update It's very recommended. It's stable. It has 15 new bug fixes on top of the 33 bug fixes of 2.83.1, on top of the 1,250 of 2.83. So very stable. Let's move on. Let's see. Oh yeah, you sent me this link to DevTalk. Soft body simulation. Yes, the soft body. I need to make video. I want to make videos of the projects for Google Summer of Code. The soft body simulation is one of them, which you can follow the progress here on DevTalk. And the developer is doing a really good job on keeping the community updated on like what is he doing this week, what is he working on, what's the status, and even making a little video. Look at this nice armadillo hang loose. The definition of hang loose. Particle system update. Yes, there is a particle system update coming. Actually, it's experimental. You can try it already, but it's experimental. So next question. Thank you, by the way, everybody that is actually replying to the comments, because this is a nice part of having the questions before, because the community can get involved and everybody can help each other, because I really can't follow everything on all the topics, and having the community to help and giving feedback, or like actually when we were talking about the previous soft body simulation, there was here somebody mentioned already the new soft body Google Summer of Code. So yay, thank you community. Any updates on the asset manager? Yes, there are updates. There is a branch called asset metadata. I couldn't compile Blender today. There is something going on with the OpenImage denoise library for some reason, but there is a branch already that you can compile, and you can go as far as creating an asset. It will make the like a thumbnail of the asset that you have, and it's gonna let you browse it. So it's very limited, but it's the baby steps towards an asset manager. Like you can create an asset. What is an asset? Can be anything. You're gonna be able to, at the moment, you can only access via the outliner, and you can go and do like right click, create an asset. It's not here. It is not the branch, but you're gonna find here. If you wanna play with it, you're gonna find a button that will say create an asset. It will take a render of it too. It's gonna do like a workbench render from a camera. Try to position, try to be smart about fitting the whole object in there, the whole collection even. And yes, that is what works at the moment. And I should be making a video rather soon just to see how it is. Yes, actually, Andrew Peel, this developer, is in contact with Julian Eisel, the developer that is working on the asset manager. So don't worry, they are in touch. This everybody wants to have the best and the greatest asset manager. Actually, here you can read more asset manager basics. Actually, yeah, where you were linking, like any updates on the asset manager, you link to this task, and in this task is where the magic happens. You can this is the task that is updated by the developer, which you can see here at the bottom. You're gonna see that Julian has been updated. So every time he makes a change, it's being updated. He's also been working on the weekend. Shouldn't be doing that, but he's actually ahead of time now, of the schedule. Sorry, and this is there was a commit that actually had an image of the creation of an asset. So yeah, it is pretty exciting. You can create assets in Blender and a branch. Next, well, I think I got lost already. I didn't count the questions. So 1, this is 2, this is number 3, and then number 4, and then we are in 5 already. 1 quarter in. Aslan Damjidi asks, Hola Pablo, I have a few ideas. I'm gonna wet my throat with some mate. I have a few ideas that I post them in right-click select, but I don't know if this is a proper way to send them or I have to post in developer talk too. I know Max scripting language in Max, but new to Python. And I think I'm a little bit old to learn something new from the ground up. No, Python is the easiest one to read and learn. And if you know some really old language, Python, it just makes sense. Once you see it, it's like, it's easy to get into, at least on the basic level. Like, even artists can make, no, I'm kidding. Even artists can make add-ons in Blender. I'm an artist, I made add-ons in Blender. Just I'm not trying to to make it look like even artists, but even artists really. Some ideas I really like the simple one. Let's see what it's simple. Multi-shape key target. Doesn't sound simple already. Shape keys are awesome technique in all 3D packages. In Blender, what is really missing is the ability to add multi-target to a one shape key. As you can see in the simple GIF below, the blue eye have a multi-target in its shape key as the targets are in row next to it, green eyes. So it is opening smoothly without penetrating. Yes, I ran into this issue many times when making eyelids. So for example, say you have two shape keys, one is the eye closed and one is the eye open. If you just go from one to the other, this is what happens. It tries to go from closed to open. There's no intermediate. So you have to make one in the middle and then make the closed shape key go into the middle one and then middle one to the open one. I'm explaining this in case people don't know what this means. Multi-shape key sharpen, multi-shape key target. So let's see the proposal. I know there is some trick to do this in Blender. Yes, there is, with drivers and changing the range of the drivers. It's not the most user-friendly though, but it's possible. It needs to be clear and easy way to do, with all the shape key functionality supported, like mirror, etc. So it's not so simple already. So for the UI part, I think that it would be nice to be able to select a few shape keys and turn them to a new shape key, or just a group with a slider that automatically adds all selected targets with a proper percentage to act as main slider. Okay, this alone, like having nested properties in this kind of widget, this is called UI list in Blender. That alone is like a project on its own. We don't have that in Blender, the concept of nested elements, which would be amazing. Like if we could have a group of UVs or a group of vertex colors. Well, we can only have 8 vertex colors, but you get the point. It would be nice to have this, but this is a completely different project on its own. And yeah, it would be awesome to have this. It would be pretty amazing. There's here some kind of way of doing it. Apparently, I just do it in naming based system, and then it looks like it's using an add-on, a shape editor. Yeah. Not sure how that would work. It's not simple though, and it's not something to do with Python. I think it should be done built-in inside of Blender. And the other one, and some hard to script like this one, energy brushes for grease pencil. Let's see the second one, energy brushes for grease pencil. Some great simulation tools for secondary animation effects to shape at second animation effect shapes at Autodesk Research Group will be really useful for grease pencil. Watch the idea below. For more information, see here and the research here. So let's see. I hope they don't have advertisement here, otherwise I'm gonna get ads on this video. Did you notice that the Blender Foundation YouTube channel doesn't have ads of any kind? Isn't that nice? So okay, apparently this is a way to paint. So you paint energy brushes. You paint, and then you have direction, and it's like a wind-ish kind of a thing. And then you can apply shape, and then you make the shape wobble. That's pretty nice. Control X, and then yes, you can control it. You can combine effects. You can combine effects. You can have two going in two directions. It's actually pretty nice. But however, look at this how simple this this system is. How it was basically made for this. I believe this. It's cool as a small idea. She was like, hey, yeah, it would be nice, but this is maybe not the best example of a proposal for Blender, of a right-click select proposal. Why? Because this proposal basically takes like, hey, let's do what this software is doing. It doesn't involve Blender in it. When I look at this as a Blender user, and as many Blender users right here, I bet they would be like, hey, no, this is Grease Pencil with force fields. That's the Blender way of thinking. You should think of whatever it's there already. We already have force fields. We have a full list of them. We have, for example, drag, fluids, and vortex, and wind, and forces. So we have this. They just don't work with Grease Pencil yet. So when making this kind of proposals, we shouldn't just like, hey, look at this video, let's add it to Blender. Because maybe some developer somewhere is inspired and goes and implements something like this, but instead of doing it the Blender way, which is having everything connected. Because if you implement energy brushes for Grease Pencil like this, and then you want to apply to a mesh, what do? You have to, you have to apply the energy brush to a mesh, but we already have force fields. So yeah, when making this proposal, please try to do a little bit of research on how would be the Blender way, because that's way more appealing than just looking at a video of another of a research or another app. It's a great concept though. I think we should definitely have that at some point. It's very nice to mix physics with the Grease Pencil. I think it will be really mind-blowing. Let's move on. Next question. This was a 5. This is number 6. Slemon asks, let me have another drink. It's yerba mate, by the way. Again, I like to clarify because it looks super weird and South American. I like this one today though. I left the other one at the studio, but this one has a little llama in it. Has like a little llama. I don't know if you get to see it. And it's yeah, it's a llama. My dad sent it to me. And my mom. Let's see. Blender's 2.8 icons have always been hard to see compared to 2.7 for me. I kind of agree with you. Let's see. The flat white icons. Okay, well, people are shouting in the in the chat because I said llama. Yeah, llama because I want everybody to understand. Actually, it's not a llama, it's a guanaco. A guanaco is a cousin of a llama-ish, but it's also a cousin of a camel, if you would say, like a very far away cousin that you forget to invite to parties. Well, that is a camel compared to a guanaco, compared to a vicuña. A vicuña also, vicuña. Oh, you get the idea. Vicuña, vicuña, alpaca, llama, guanaco, camel, all family. Let's move on. Side topic. Blender 2.8 icons have always been hard to see compared to 2.7 for me. The flat white icons don't seem great for readability. Recently, Windows has been moving away from this kind of icons. The new ones are mostly flat with just a little bit of color and gradients. Could we please see a change like this in Blender for accessibility? You can see the comparison for all icon styles compared to the new one here. So I guess this is how Windows used to look back in the dark, horrible eras of Metro, the square styles, I guess. So this is how it looks nowadays, apparently. It looks much. I bet. Yeah, for me, it looks nicer. However, I don't know. These kind of icons, these are ugly, but the Blender kind of icons that are more shape based have the advantage that they can be themed, right? You can theme it. You can make the color you want, and also I think the shape, like if you don't have an icon, then the shape is, you're forced by the shape to be a bit more clear. I do believe we need color, though. We need color in some areas, especially like modifiers. This list is insane. I always forget which one was what, like modify, generate, deform, physics. I think we should have some kind of color for this, at least in between the columns. Or I mean, I don't know. This menu should have a search already. It's be what are we waiting for? Search for this, and also other areas inside of Blender, because it means that if you have the same icon that is used in two different contexts, you could have them colored. Like for example, here you have the color for the adding the object, but also you have in the outliner you have a different color because this is an actual object. So that's how you can tell them apart. The so yeah, that concept, and also something that we never really think that much about is about how long does it take to design this as to design you know, something fairly more simple as more geometric shapes. This takes a while, and we already have missing icons inside of Blender that just don't have an icon because they take time to be done. The same way why I believe that having the single column layout in Blender, like single column, it's in one way it's more readable, but on the other hand it's also way easier for developers to just make this layout, just do it, group it, sort of making sense, and that's it. In Blender 2.7 you would have like, why do you think we ended up with this nightmare of layout in 2.7? It's because it was designed by developers mainly. As you can see here, like there's labels that starts like halfway and just misaligned everywhere, and yeah. If you make it easier to developers, and also add-ons, if you make an add-on, then it's easier to comply with the rest of Blender. All right, let's move on. Thank you also for the questions here. Actually, people are replying and saying that it's easier to recolor and stuff. One of the comments here says that it would be nice for Blender to be able to change the colors, and I also agree with that. It should be possible, but it shouldn't be something that the Blender Foundation has to manage. It's already slow enough to, if you add a feature, you have to add a manual and like manual entry and documentation. If you also have to add the design, wait for the design of an icon, and then the color of an icon and the layout, it just adds more and more layers. So all right, let's move on. I'm taking it very very relaxed this, and I'm only not even halfway. Okay, number 7, Gilberto Rodriguez says, what is the plan for 2.91 and 92 UV editing? I'm very curious after seeing on the roadmap. Here are my suggestions. And there should be an operation for selected flips and a bunch of suggestions, like pick add a setting for specifying the textile density, pick the shortest path. Yeah. Hey, did you know, by the way, that there is a new module member of the UV module in Blender? These are great news, which I am preparing a video for. Let me find the link. So I am actually preparing a video on new, yes, please sit down, don't fall, hold your pants, new improvements to the UV editor. The UV editor is now it has a new member of the artist section of the members, which is Daniel Bysted. He is the author of all the EV PR that you've seen over the last few years, like the Good Night Claire and the Tiger, and is really he has tons of experience, and he is taking on the task of naming. I don't know if you've seen here because of my face, but he went into the trouble of going through all of the issues and reporting those issues and proposing, like, this is the issue. For example, Daniel Bysted, amazing. We had him here live on the stream once or twice, and you can see here he mentions, okay, this is a starting point. This is what happens. This is undesired and this is desired. That is a dream for a developer to see because it's a clear example, something that needs to be fixed. What's the problem? What's to fix it? And someone willing to test it. Someone willing to like, okay, here's a patch, compile it. It takes time, try it, and all of that. And that with a bunch of issues in Blender, how to improve it, like mirror UVs. What is expected? What is expected result? And this is priceless. So, great news, because since this is making life for developers easier, it's also making it easier to fix and to add the improvements. So much so that there are already some improvements, and there's a spoiler of what I'm going to show in the video next week. But there is a new tool for ripping parts of your UV. So for example, say you want to rip somewhere here, just press the same shortcut as you press it here, or you can use this tool for people complaining about the shortcuts. You can just rip parts of your mesh. So you can click, drag, and then you just do it the same way you would do it with the oops, fail. Because it doesn't have more corners. Here, this one you can just move it. So yeah, this is amazing that developers and artists are working together to improve the UV editor. Super, super good news. Also, while you comment that, so exactly, to answer your question, what are the plans? No really like roadmap, what is in 9.1 and what is in 9.2. But these fixes that I just shown, these are in master. So, and the tools that I shown, they're in master because they're small enough. So they will be in 2.90 even. And you can see here more of the UV editing project here. And you can see more what's gonna happen, what is planned, and how to proceed. And just as a little gift here, pick shortest path for quickly marking seams. This is already possible, I think. Let me double check before breaking your heart. Path selection support. So it is shortest path pick. There is a new shortcut. It's control click, and you should be able to yeah, it's a new operator that matches the one in the 3D viewport. So actually one of the changes here in your list, I think it's already done. I think. Sorry if it's not and I'm confusing you, but I think it is. So yeah, great news. Let's move on. Number 8. Number 8 is Mikeche. I know Eevee has been getting some love lately with motion blur. Some love? What? That is a lot of love. That is like getting married with motion blur. I would really like to see Eevee get a proper shadow catcher. Is it coming anytime in the near future? I can't say like it's coming with a date. It's eventually gonna come. That's a plan. It's in the roadmap, but it's not a priority right now. Priority again is to have Eevee working on more graphics cards and get Vulkan support. So moving into dropping OpenGL and then moving into Vulkan. So that way we're gonna have more features, because I bet the day you add Shadow Catcher, next comment is gonna be, I know Eevee is getting some love with the Shadow Catcher, but when are we getting bake support and about what blah blah? And it's like it never ends. So Vulkan is gonna allow it to make to make more improvements and even faster improvements and things that are not even possible right now. Next question, number 9. Hi Pablo, thanks for the great communication to do. Hi, thank you. One simple question: when support for groups is going to be available? It's quite a huge missing feature in my honest opinion. Yes, groups, it's like the real groups, the ones that you can, real groups. It's not available in Blender. It was never available. Blender had back in 2.7 the concept of group, but it was basically what a collection is right now. It's just the same. So what are you exactly missing from collections to be groups? Is it just the fact that you maybe could like click and then select the whole group and then go inside of it? What is, I'm asking because I'm not familiar with groups in other software, so I'm really curious. So what is the feature that collections in Blender are lacking at the moment to be on top, like to be at the level of groups in other softwares? Is it just a way of managing it, or is it maybe for light groups, but we're using collections for that? Yeah, light groups, I'm also missing it, paying it in the chat. I'm very curious. Thank you. If you can answer. Number 10, Daniela Palme asks, or Daniel La Palme. You have to, next time, please let me know the way to pronounce it. Since there is work being done on UVs for 2.90, any news on this right-click select? Let's see what your right-click select. Highlight the view selection in 3D view. I'm not sure, actually. Would be nice to have a look at the list of at the workboard to see if it's somewhere over here. If it's not, maybe we can remind the developers about this. Highlight. I can't search it here, so maybe it's something worth adding over there. Next question, number 11. We switch into the second section of the show. 40 minutes in. I hope I don't get too much over time. Hello, Pablo. Question: what do you use Blender for? Whoa, question for me. I got caught off guard. Okay. I need to think about this one. All right. From so not that I don't think about the other ones, but some of them are very automatic. From an artist's perspective, I mean, or is it more of let's try this new tool and show it around? Also, why don't you stream longer? Maybe that way, these Q&As, you could watch videos and give opinion. That's sort of like what I've been doing today. I actually went to see some of the videos. Of course, if the video is like 6, 20, 15 minutes long, it's not going to be possible. But yeah, I guess I could just stream longer or just do the long version somewhere on Twitch or something. Is it that if I make a 1.5 hour video, 2 hour video, nobody's going to click on that. And we need more people to know that we're doing this. So please share this, kind of. Let the world know that we're doing Q&A every week. And the question itself is, what do you use Blender for? For an artist, from an artist perspective, I mean, or is it let's try this new tool and show it around? No, well, yes and no. So I got involved with Blender because I like doing characters when I was a kid. I like doing, I don't know if I'm gonna find anything, but yeah, when I was a kid, I was, well, characters Blender maybe. So yeah, I made the llama, the Guanaco in. I made this. This is my latest character design I made, Koro. But I also made like this little bird over here and some other characters that I made back when I was a little kid. This is Durano, also another character. So yeah, I used to make this kind of stuff, and I would love to continue doing it. I just haven't done it in a very long time. I then moved to do lighting and rendering. I did lighting for pretty much all the more recent, well, all the open movie projects except a couple since Sintel. Sintel was my first project as a lighting artist. I love doing lighting, and it's something that I hope I can continue doing. But at home, I doing experiments and stuff. Last week I downloaded. Someone shared from Sketchfab. Someone shared the object. No, it's the object there. Yeah, the object file of a passage in London, which is called the Lake, and it's awesome. It's all like full of graffiti. Actually, if you just see it in solid mode, it's easier to see, but it's amazing. I love this place, and I was actually planning to go to London. So I saw this and was like, okay, let's do something. So I went ahead and did a thing, but I wanted to make it like eerie, you know, like you're actually exploring. So I went ahead and did this thing. But this also helps me to try and test Blender stuff. Where is the David Bowie sign here? Let's dance. All right. Completely off topic. But that's what I do. Yeah, I use Blender for a little bit of everything. For my job now is trying tools and UI development and stuff. Next question, number 12. When launching a script, when I change from modes, the script does not continue to run when I go from object to edit mode regarding selecting parts of a mesh and changing it. Will this be fixed anytime soon? Actually, this question is answered by Raometry, and you can actually thank you very nice, Raometry, for replying to this one, because I wasn't aware of the limitations and where to find them. Here you can read about the limitations of the operators, and that's why it's not possible. Let's continue. Number 13. Are you planning a version of Blender for iPad? No, currently no. It's not on the plans. But that being said, Blender. I don't know if you've seen. Actually, here, thanks again, Christian, for sharing the answer. In the latest Apple keynote on the Apple the developers conference, they mentioned that they want to support that they are making a new kind of silicon, basically, of like a chip. They're switching from Intel to their own stuff, and that is a nightmare for every software out there, because you have to basically change a bunch of things to make it work on that hardware. However, Apple themselves made a list of open source projects where they are going to do we're gonna help to bring that compatibility between Blender, between other softwares and their silicon. And they confirmed they made the initial work needed to get the most popular open source projects. And among the most popular projects, they highlighted Blender. Isn't it nice? I mean, if it's about popular, they could have highlighted Python and FFmpeg. I think they are more popular than Blender. But I'm pretty happy to see that, actually, that they support. There is a patch apparently going on around just to make Blender work in that hardware. So once that is done, and Vulkan support is added, and the Metal API connection between Vulkan and Metal for Blender is done, maybe there could be a chance. However, remember that it's not just about making a software work on a tablet. It's the interaction. All of that is just another project on its own. So yeah, there are many things to do to get up to that level. Question number 14, Sant Leffer, Vladimir. Do you recommend any good guide in sculpting using the new workflow of the awesome Pablo Barro that he's explained in his talk last year? Even a time-lapse using that workflow would be very useful. As always, I want to congratulate you on the work doing Blender today. Thank you, Sant Leffer. Very nice. So there are some answers actually already here. I don't know of a specific tutorial, but I bet what Pablo is explaining, it was very technical though, very technical, which is nice because you don't usually get this kind of presentations. But the workflow itself with the tools, I bet there are any tutorials for sculpting that you can try here, that you can find on YouTube. Blender Sculpt 2.8. There must be stuff. Look at that. Ask NK, Jayanam, 4 months ago. I bet the guy from Jan Sculpt, he doesn't make any videos anymore or what. But yeah, there will be videos if you look. Roberto Roche, is he back? Wow, he's an amazing sculptor that I haven't seen in a while in the community. But maybe the Zacharias also. Anyway, next question. Hi Pablo, number 15. Thanks to you and the team to allow Blender be greater each day. Thank you and the community. Just this in time to ask me a question. What is the plan for the trimming tool in sculpt mode? Let's see. What is the plan for the trimming tool sculpt mode? Is it blocked by the advance of the new booleans? I let me check. I asked this to Pablo. Let me see if he managed to, because it was early before lunch. I left a message, and so the answer is that the patch is pretty much ready, and it's using the solver currently in Blender. So it fails very often, 8 out of 10 times. So you could try it, but it doesn't really work for anything. It doesn't really work very well. So as soon as the new solver is there, it could be running in a matter of days. Oh, it depends completely in where the Boolean is in. So that is awesome. So that's actually pretty nice. The trimming tool, it's the current system for Booleans is the problem. So exactly, when you were right, actually, the new Boolean branch, it's what is stopping it. So good news and bad news at the same time. But good news that once that is implemented, many areas are gonna benefit from it. Question number 16 by David Vernaglione. Hello, guys. Thanks for the continued development. 2.9 looks so neat and powerful. My question regards snapping. After it being introduced for Edge Slide, are there any chances that snapping will be possible also when making loop cuts? Sometimes I find myself in situations where I need the loop cut to be in the same place or axis. I know I could do a loop cut and then use Edge Slide for snapping, but why not bend the two actions into one? That doesn't sound extremely difficult. Again, this is just an artist talking, so the issue is that the reason why is because the loop cut tool, it's actually two tools. It's a macro. It has two tools in one, loop cut and slide. So maybe it's not that hard. Maybe we should mention this to the developers. So yeah, maybe it's worth mentioning. Could it be reported as a bug report, like this guys as a feature request? Maybe not. I will try and remember to ask a developer, Germano Cavalcante, about it. Let's continue. Hero asks, question number 17. Well, we're getting there. 17. Hero. Hi Pablo, is separate saving of viewport settings being considered for implementation? We needed to keep matcaps, shadows, and other stuff between sessions without the rest of the UI, as they are more specific to the scene document than the layout. Thanks. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that when Blender 2.8 was, when the new viewport project in Blender 2.8 was started to become a reality, it's like, okay, how do we make it? The overlay idea started to pop. It's like, okay, we need some kind of overlays because we have all these modes that we can combine. And then also there was this discussion, is like, okay, what modes do we need? Do we need wireframes? I don't know if you remember, if you were involved in Blender back in the early 2.8 days, where there was no wireframe mode and people were afraid that it will never come back. And there was rants and riots and like burning, nothing was burning, but it was a big discussion because what is wireframe mode? Okay, it's wireframe, but do we also have X-ray on and off? Which overlays do we have? So there was the original idea for these modes was to have presets. And basically what you activate here, it would be just presets. The wireframe is just a preset, so if you combine those modes, you can have anything. You can combine anything and just make your own modes. That would be awesome. It's one of the ideas. If I unfortunately never made it through because we have to make 2.8. We had to finish 2.8 and release it. But the idea of the presets might come back with the asset manager. And presets for the viewport, it's important also so they can be maybe synchronized between two workspaces, remember, or even two viewports. Remember that now these two viewports are two completely different things. There are some patches there for making it like synchronized between them, but they are different. They are completely different, their own settings. So yeah, presets and synchronization, it's in the developer's heads. So hopefully will be done eventually. Number 18. Boris Wilson. Hey Pablo and guests, greeting from Brazil. Hola. Could you talk about Blender and motion capture? I will try. I'm not super familiar with everything that is available at the moment. So, okay, I have heard some months ago about the Core Data Motion project. Yes, they actually have the Kickstarter, and this is open source motion capture made really by people that love Blender. So they even gave a presentation at the Blender developer Blender conference. So they are really serious about integrating it with Blender and making it open source. So integrating with an add-on. So it's really a project that you should check out and you should try to support if you can and if you're into motion capture, because it's really bringing open source motion capture to the open source world. And they have Blender on the top of their priority for like connecting, making it work.
All of us need a computer.
With the other. So super interesting. If you're into it, consider it. Core Data motion capture made yours. Next. Oh, sorry. Next, actually, there's a Blender wouldn't have a system, so it was possible. I'm gonna leave the link so people in the chat can check it out. Let's see. Like the makers and markers and all the stuff, tracking and solving markers with multiple cameras. I know that it's possible to do this in Blender currently, but it's only with one footage at a time. By linking the marker to an empty, but with multiple cameras, it is possible to track not only X and Y axis, but also Z axis, making it way more accurate for motion capture animation. This guy in 2015, well, you really did your research. I actually wasn't aware of that second paragraph. This I actually have seen in the past. I have seen it. It's 2015. It's not that long ago. If someone can find this add-on, it shouldn't be too hard to bring it up to the Blender 2.8 or 9. And the API changed, but it's usually not that time-consuming to update. There are even tutorials about it, about upgrading and documentation about that. But now the add-on seems to be broken. Yes, this could easily be fixed by the community. Anyways, it would be a great idea to implement something like this. Yes, it would be great. I have no experience in this, and I don't know exactly at the moment. The VFX module in Blender is also connected to the sequencer, and I think the sequencer needs more love at the moment to get it up to speed than the motion tracker at the moment. And the developer that is working on it, that it will work on it, it's the same. It's one developer, the one that made the motion tracker in the first place, and the one that will work on the video sequencer, hopefully in the coming couple releases. Elephant. Question number 19. We're getting there. Remember, I'm reading all the ones that have votes in them. So from the top to the bottom. What happens to plans? Oh, what happened to the plans of Agent 327 as a full feature film? The short was so good. I really thought it was gonna happen. I was looking forward to watching my local cinema. And now, silence. You already have avoided to answer similar questions in the past. Be transparent now and choose from 3 possibilities. Hey, I always try to be transparent. If I got sidetracked maybe, but it's not that I never try to avoid answering stuff, I think. Or at least I don't mean to. Okay, I have to choose from this option. Option B, you can't talk about it yet. No, that's not correct. Option B, you honestly don't know. Partially. And C, idea was abandoned for whatever reason. Not whatever reason. Impossible to get enough money for such projects, so hope is faint like a candle flame. Levi and Hjalmarsson are busy with something completely different and they just don't care. In cinemas, Summer. Okay, all these options. Okay, let's start to remove the ones that are not. You can't talk about it yet. No, that's not true. Actually, I would talk if there was something. In cinemas, summer 2022. Who knows? I don't think so, but never know. I don't know. No, let's say no. Levi and Hjalmarsson are busy with something completely different. They just don't care. That's not correct. Actually, they really care about the project. They had meetings and they met even in the past about like long discussions and talks about the how to move it forward, how to move the project forward. Honestly, you don't know. This is correct. I don't know exactly what went wrong, and the idea was abandoned for whatever reason. Impossible to get money. These two are actually this one especially, the impossible to get money for such a project. Yes, if there was money after that releasing that short movie, if there was money falling from the sky, things might be a lot easier, because then you can just hire the top of the top of the top that you can and help you to make it true, make it happen. From I don't know, like the story is king. You need someone to write a really good story, and there are so many books and comics around the Agent 327. Agent 327 is based on a Dutch comic book from the 70s and 60s and all that era. So there are so many ways to go about it that it's not easy to get it right. Also, yeah, it's just hard to find money for something like that. Even though we think that the film did well, not really. It's hard. The same with Cosmos Laundromat. You would think, like, I don't know, I love the short. I think it was, if I was Elon Musk and I had a few millions to spare, I would definitely be like, hey, these guys are making cool stuff. I'm with open source and giving it away. So why not just like, hey, here, make a film? But unfortunately, I don't know any millionaires. If you do, send them this way. Show them the Agent 327 and tell them, hey, here's 10 million. Could you make it, please? Next question, number 20. We're reaching number 20. Ariane Nudin. Hi, Pablo. Have you considered being a weekly show where you review the artworks created by Blender users at Blender Art? Review the artwork. Yes, I actually consider for the other channel. I have another channel that is called Blender Community, which is where the original Blender Today started. And I've been doing some videos every now and then over there. We are only 14,000 people. It's not extremely popular. But I've been trying to make some videos. I stopped making it after the Blender Today moved to this channel, but I've done a few. And I was thinking maybe in this channel to connect more with that side of the community and keep the questions and stuff for the Blender channel. But maybe I could do it over there. However, I just reviewing artwork from Blender users and Blender artists, that is, they should submit it. I can't just enter and judge like, oh, this stuff, or no, I think here, it just doesn't. I don't know. If people submit it for reviews, then maybe that's something that we could do. I would love to. I like giving feedback, but only when people ask for it. So if you want feedback on a piece of artwork, maybe contact me on Twitter and stuff. My contact info is on the comments in the description. And that's it. That was question number 20. But since we have this one over here, let's do a bonus. Any news about Keymesh? I asked Pablo Dobarro about it, and his answer is, so the Keymesh depends on the roadmap of the animation module. Animation module, again, you can find it on developer.blender.org, animation and rigging, and here you're gonna get all the info, what's going on, all the new issues, the unclassified, the work board as well, like things that the backlog and the features and the long-term stuff. The Keymesh depends on the roadmap of animation, says Pablo. with Danny, we are focused on making the tools, but while there is until there is no time to plan it with the rest of the modules, I don't think it will move forward a lot. So yes, basically it's a matter of time for the modules to work together. The animation module is the one that should take care, especially KeyMesh is, for those that don't know, is the ability to add to have a different mesh. So have the same object, a different mesh per frame. So you can have, like, you can change from a keyframe from a cube to a sphere, just like that, in every frame. And it involves many. It's not just the one module, the animation. It's also the interaction. The UI has a big part of it. How do you interact with it? And I'm really happy actually to hear that they are working. They're focusing on the tools, because that's what should be done first, right? You should try and do a proof of concept, work on the tools, polish how is the workflow going to be, and it's very promising. It's the genius of Pablo that we've seen, all the work that he's done, and the genius of Daniel Martinez Lara, who pushed the Grease Pencil project back when it was just an annotation tool. So having those two combined, I hope and to see good stuff soon. All right. It's way over time, 1 hour 6. It's not too bad, actually. I thought it would be way more, but I think we're managing. How is everybody in the chat? Is it high five, Pablo? High five, Benedict? Stop motion sculpting, basically. Exactly what Ajay said. How's the chat? I hope I didn't miss a lot here. I was trying to focusing on the questions on Blender today. Thank you, everybody, and for asking them, and so sorry for the ones that I didn't get to answer. I'm making these threads on Wednesday on blender.today on the Blender community website, so jump in there. Also remember to follow Blender on Twitter, on Facebook and Instagram, or Blender Today on Twitter or Facebook. Twitter is mainly the where most things happen usually, in terms of updates of Blender and stuff. All right, I think I'll have a break until next week. We have seen a bunch of new stuff. I managed to see some of the things that we're gonna see next week. I made myself a Trello board. I should be using open source tools, but okay, Trello board for myself. This is private, where I made the list of videos that I want to make, and these are the ones that I kinda get ready. It's called Performance Ocean stuff, and then this is the ones that I have cooking and that I need to investigate, and yeah, so that is my private list for next week. I also have to review some stuff on the cloud, on Blender UI, the Asset Manager, and a whole lot more. But so nice to hang out with you. Have a very, very nice weekend. Relaxed. Stay off the internet a little bit. Maybe to blend something fun, so you can later show me, and then we can do a review at some point. It's been a pleasure, and if you're familiar with how things go here, I warn you to cover your ear holes, because in 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Gracias, obrigado, dankeschön, dankjewel, grazie, merci. See you next week. Bye bye. Same place, same time. Bye bye.
因为现在大家都说我是韩国语2.0嘛，所以陈其迈也是韩国语2.0啊，那大家都是韩国语2.0。
各位好，这里是眼球中央电视台新闻频道，欢迎您走进本节的新闻直播间，我是主播视网膜。先来关心高雄市长补选的最新消息。目前高雄市长宝座是陷入三国鼎立的局面，由国语党李眉蓁、民进党陈其迈以及另外一位候选人来争夺。但事实上，胜负早就已经分出来。准市长李眉蓁日前在自己脸书上张贴市长的最新公开行程，这也等于是在向其他两个阵营传达讯息，希望不要再做无谓的挣扎。不过年纪比较大的陈其迈叔叔还是听不进年轻人的劝告，继续自顾自地发表他的政见，表示要替高雄市的学生们装上冷气。
把这个建制冷气机的时间可以提早来加快加速整个校园装冷气的政策。
装了冷气，吹出来的是什么风呢？原来就是韩风。看来陈其迈候选人的内心深处同样是一位韩粉。对手国语党也指出，陈其迈的冷气政策其实和韩总机过去在国小推动的3年双机差不多，等于是延续了韩总机的意志。也难怪准市长李眉蓁会感性地表示，在座的各位都是韩总机2.0。
因为现在大家都说我是韩国瑜2.0嘛，所以陈其迈也是韩国瑜2.0啊，那大家都是韩国瑜2.0。
不止高雄市长的意志有人继承，日前过世的高雄市议长许坤元也有人能继承遗志。他的妻子林思瑜在10号召开记者会表示，因为丈夫许坤元这几天对自己托梦要坚强起来，所以决定向抹黑许坤元的人提出告诉。
前几天我先生托梦给我，要我坚强，就因此我决定化悲愤为力量，决定今天向这些人提告。
没有错，托梦这个技巧真的是相当好用，像是郭董也是用这个方法来决定参选总统，没办法下决定时，先睡一觉，等人来托梦就对了。另一方面，为了表达对前议长的尊敬，国语党党主席江启臣则是赌上了自己的主席大位，要将高雄市议长的位子留在国语党的手上。
昨天中常会开会有针对议长补选，如果没有守住的话，要辞职。
守住议长这个位置，对我们来讲，那绝对是目前最重要的事情。
所以会拿你的位置来做担保吗？
我的位置这不算什么啊。
实在是非常有勇气，不过主席却没有提到万一市长没选上要付出什么样的代价，这让一旁的准市长李眉蓁决定要多说几句。
你说如果议长没选上，他要辞的话，你觉得他这样算不算赌很大？
我们现在就是会全力以赴来把市长的位置保住。
这绝对不是准市长李眉蓁不想替党主席江启臣加油，而是因为一个人负责议长，一个人负责市长，分工合作才能让国语党完全光复高雄。接下来将镜头转到中央政府，由民进党政府提名的9位考试委员在本月10号全数过关，成为新任的考试委员。但是日前立法院进行审查时，却发现考试委员们并不喜欢被考试。
请问你们的态度是不是赞成？不赞成的请举手，还是没有意见？我们给你们问卷，你们也不回答。现在问你，给你们机会，请你们举手一下，也不回答。那我不知道各位的态度是怎样？这样怎么会适任考试委员呢？
在提名阶段就不愿意接受监督，回答问题才是专业的表现。对任何议题都不表态，才能够彰显何谓公正不阿。毕竟考试委员只需要管理国家考试，可没有规定要接受考试。不过，考试委员的职责还包括要负责公务人员的任免、考绩、升迁等业务。简单来说，就是一个月薪19万的国家人力资源主管。而时空力量立委陈椒华于是提出一题情境题，请问准考试委员们是否支持一边担任开发案的审查委员，一边收取企业的资金？
不只是环评什么动物保育委员、生态保育委员，然后同时又接开发单位的计划，请问你们认为这样的做法，你们是考试委员的候选人，你们认为这样子是不是适当？
报告委员，这不是考试院的职责，也不是考试委员的职责。
谢谢被提名人的回答，推得一干二净。我是说回答得一清二楚。而这群准考试委员可说是卧虎藏龙，其中周连香教授正是在当年国光石化开发案当中训练白海豚转弯找到出路的海豚妈妈。
训练动物穿越一个不是算很宽的一个地方。那如果说万一不行的话呢，就会在它需要比较关键的位置呢，放置一个食物的诱导器。海豚是可以学得会的，但是当然我在结论上也特别讲，这个是实验性质，全世界没有人做过。
哇哦，全球首创！周教授这样子勇于尝试的实验精神，也让委托周教授进行研究的国光石化董事长十分激赏，因为国光石化董事长也相信海豚跟他拥有一样的智商。
他跟我城堡人一样聪明啊！我如果肚子饿啊，要经过这个 骑楼要去饭店去吃饭，骑楼呢被人家挡住了，不会从旁边绕过去。
没错，被挡住去路就绕开就好了，干嘛这么紧张？在这里，我们要正式将发现白海豚会转弯的学术成就重新还给周莲香女士。原来白教授前主席只不过是食人牙慧。
白海豚自然有它生存游水的这个路径哈，它还会转弯的呀。经济部长谈国光石化的时候，他说有专家说海豚哦，它会自己该转弯就会转弯。我说你讲的虽然有道理哈，但是还是斟酌一下哈，去问那个专家。
真相终于大白，专家周莲香也即将提供国家更多的建议，只是没有想到这样子既能维护生态又能够持续开发的创建，时空力量立委陈椒华还是无法接受。在进行考试委员提名审查时，就要求准考试委员周莲香进行解释。
我在环评的案，我扮演的是球员的角色，我不是裁判。
没错，身为国光石化队的队员，就应该要扮演好球员的角色，找出继续开发的办法。如今球员即将接任裁判，相信一定可以让我国的公务体系更加圆滑。感谢党。接下来，让我们一起来超前部署，关心2024年的总统大选。离世偏安首都市长柯文哲日前接受电视专访时表示，自己会按部就班，为2024年的总统争霸战做好准备。
就是这样的哦，尽量做了哈，不能让每个人满意，就是凭我们的良心，就按部就班嘛，就这样。我还是照这样准备
选总统，就这样去选。
为了不要输在起跑点，柯市长可是非常认真的做准备，而且他对于当市长选总统这件事情有相当深刻的见解。
现在很多人就问说2020你要不要选总统？你知道我对这种题目都嗤之以鼻的。我当过17年台大医院外科教务主任，我每天都看着人这样抬进来抬出去，所以不要想太多。
2020选总统，对于当时的柯 P 来说，考虑4年之后的事情有什么意义呢？当然要直接考虑8年以后的事儿。
为什么过去的台北市长会做不好？我已经知道大概体会在哪里。做第一任的时候想第二任，做第二任想总统，所以他就没有办法做该做的事，变成在讨好大家。
这光用想的当然做不好，实际动手准备才是有执行力的表现。也难怪柯市长的政治生命可以不断的延长，多彩多姿。同样极力想要延续生命的还有濒危的台湾特有种石虎，而中台湾的延续则是石虎族群南北接壤的重要生态廊道。延世市议会在本月9号就进行了石虎保育条例草案的2读会，却引来法制局、都发局、建设局以及交通局，还有部分议员的反对。
过去我们几十年来都没有听到石虎2个字，就是因为台中市那个12弹花博的时候才去搞一个石虎出来。那既然有这个新的名词石虎这个名称出来，对动物应该每一种动物都必须要去增进的，跟它有一个规范增进，这是应该的。但是为什么独对石虎就有这么样子的规定？
原来林佳龙先生不只会自拍，还会创造新物种。俗话说眼见为凭，石虎的身世遭到质疑也是很合理的事儿。
为着无影的石虎啦，造成一条路吼，即马安尼安全性的问题啦。我是土生土长哦，伫遐40-50出头年哦，我捌看到石虎。
没有错，看过石虎的人少之又少，更有报道披露，在现场的李丽华议员也赞同这样子的说法，大声疾呼石虎是虚拟的东西 ，virtual。其实不瞒各位，其实柚子呢也是一个虚拟的神兽，所以我可以把它变不见，再变出来，变不见，再变出来，再变出来，不见 ，magic。另一方面，除了虚拟动物以外，我大中华民国还有魔幻公路的存在。日前，网络上出现一张因为高速公路入口的匝道标示不清而导致撞车的照片，引发关注。许多网友纷纷提出建议，要让用路人能够更直觉地下交流道。那么，甚至有人挖出2009年的路牌，其实很合理。面对各种质疑，交通部长林佳龙也指示高公局要提出检讨，
未来示范这样的就是地名是采这个置中的一个这种方式。然后呢，箭楼分别在左右两侧这样的一个设计，我们来示范，但我们要观察用户的一个反应。
原来是反应游戏啊，没有错，这样一来就能够训练驾驶们在短时间内做出选择，成为聪明的用路人。而为了让驾驶们趋吉避凶，高公局也反应非常迅速的做出了这个临时版的新指标。是的，其实重点呢根本就不在于视觉配置或者是反应的时间，而是发音的问题。你看，只要在看到路牌的时候念出英文发音来，英格巴德，就可以很迅速的知道方向，是不是就不会搞错了呢？非常贴心。好 好了，本节新闻内容就是这样，请所有观众看完之后立刻分享影片，帮助你的亲朋好友来掌握世界的更多乱象。更多新闻您还可以订阅央视的 YouTube 频道或者追踪央视的 IG 账号，也欢迎你一起来加入本台的 YouTube 会员，一起来壮大官媒。柚子不要只看前面的饼干，谢谢你一直分心。而有不少观众询问，为什么这一周的央视1分钟没有漏订阅、漏追踪的诅咒？是因为我们收到不少香港灾报的讯息，表示港版国安法通过之后，不少人因为心生畏惧而非自愿的退订。我们在这里向各位香港朋友表达感谢，不论出于什么原因订阅或不订阅，你们都不必再向我们道歉。再会。
撑过辛苦龙哥的段子啊！好，大家好，我是陈辉文啊。陈辉文呢？陈辉文是谁呀？大家应该有问吧？对吧？不是他，不是他，是不是他？我只有头发像陈辉文其实我一开始还不认识陈辉文，因为我不会像到2线的演员嘛。对，因为想说像一些比较帅的或比较有名的，然后想到陈辉文，我就去维基百科他。然后发现，他是飞碟电台的的主持人，然后我就听他的广播，然后维基百科下面有记载他的事例，他最有名的一件事情就是他接一个 call in 起来之后，那个人隔5分钟打进去还是他，根本没有人要 call in 他的节目，这也太屌了吧！那不有名到什么程度，以至于你打完以后挂掉5分钟，还有事情没讲，打回去还是可以接，还是可以接，所以我希望大家认识 Q 摸就好。这会不会有点辛苦啦？会不会很辛苦的？不敢相信，事实好快太快了吧！我不要跟你，事实也太快了吧！有时候你不敢相信，对不对？你要讲你知道我们在做这场秀的时候，我们的英文叫做 I am 40， 对不对？是 I am 40， 可是其实我们有一个谐音，我们希望就是 in 40， 就是其实有一个反义在里面。动脑想一下，好，像 impotent 就是反义，不要像你英文好不好？英文没有你们好，不符事实，所以希望有一个反义在里面，对。可是那因为英文叫做 I'm 40， 对不对？那如果是黑人的话，就是 I'm 40。可是如果你是难以置信的语气的话，你要用哪一国语言讲？你要用意大利语言讲 I'm 40。你不敢相信你已经是，我现在就是40，what the fuck，40，但已经快到什么程度？你觉得一切事情都变得太快。你知道记得我们10岁到20岁的时候，我们在干嘛？我们在上学，对不对？我们在国小上课，那时候我觉得时间慢到什么程度？我看着窗外，然后看到操场上面那个热气，然后腾腾这样上来，然后造成了海市蜃楼，你知道吗？然后我小时候不知道那叫海市蜃楼，我以为那叫时光。我说，我的青春就这样子飘掉了。直到老师拿国语课本说：“给我你在干嘛？”你知道吗？慢到这种程度。然后20岁到30岁的时候，你会发现，时间慢慢变快了。为什么？20岁到30岁的时候，我们从大学毕业，对不对？我们从大学大3、大4的老人，变成菜鸟新兵，对吧？我去当兵，变菜鸟新兵，好不容易变老兵了，你要退伍了，你又变成社会新鲜人，你又变成又新了。所以20到30，你又旧又新，又变老又变新，是一个转换。所以你觉得，时间好像慢慢变快了。那有些人真念完书以后回来台湾讲个笑话，就马上结婚生小孩。没有生小孩啊，就结婚。我们不是伯恩啊。我没有办法像伯恩这样，我们希望很多事情就是慢慢来就好了，就像一首歌，慢看听，慢看听，大家有听过这首歌吗？的警广可以听到这首歌。我本来因为陈慧文我去听飞碟，结果听了2分钟之后我转警广，我听不下去了，结果我就听到这首歌，我觉得对，我想要慢下来，我想要慢下来，可是我们30岁到40岁就太快了。你知道吗？快到有一天我在捷运上面听到有2个女生说：“真棒，不敢相信我32了我32。”我说：“对啊，我也32啊，我39了。”我说39你到底要喝几杯啤酒？ 相信，你知道吗？那感觉整个烧到我脑袋瓜里面。我只有有一天，我突然有一个医生走出来说：“哎 ，Q 哥，不好意思，我们检查错误了，你31啦。”然后我就想说：“对嘛，我就早知道我是31，我怎么可能现在就39？”他说：“对不起，是我们检查错误了，所以我们再做一下全身健康检查。”我没有问题，我31啊，我现在可以出院了吧？他说：“没有，我要做个全身健康检查，所以要打个显影剂，打去，然后不到，醒来39了，就是这么快。你觉得你只是就39了，都没有人告诉你为什么？40岁了。” 40岁了，因为在场今天很多都是老朋友。40岁之后，你可以开始慎选你的朋友。我们有资格做这件事情了，知道吗？这是我的心得。你要选一个朋友，是比你辛苦很多的人，你就会觉得很轻松。龙哥是我一辈子的朋友。 每次我要贪嘴吃东西的时候，我都会想要龙哥。我想要那么胖，他那么胖，我不能像他那么胖。We 40, my friend, we 40, he 90 kilogram, 90。我讲笑话的时候，我想说。 我在台北讲脱口秀，我好幸运。为什么有些人要从台中上来台北才能讲脱口秀 ？We are here in Taipei. He 160 kilometer， 超级远啊 ，my friend。所以你想要更辛苦的朋友，你就觉得你很轻松，你就会轻松，压力释放非常多。所以你们一定要找这样子的朋友。 可是我要打球，我就不会找龙哥，那太强了。对啊，对，反而他还会找我打球，为什么？因为我看起来比较辛苦。为什么有这样的心得呢？因为大家知道我是药厂业务，对不对？我拜访同一间诊所最多次的经验是14次，哦，就是13次都没有买，对不对？14次 ，14。好，不会再讲了 ，14。 前面5次，我把我们家的产品背得滚瓜烂熟。我每次去到门口，护理长就跟我讲说没空，在忙，医生不在，我们不可能会买的。哦，然后前面5次我一个都准备好了，可是没有一次能够讲出我们的产品，我都被挡在门口。第6次开始，我就是即便是下大雨，我全身都淋得湿哒哒，我还是跑到诊所门口。我想说，我今天只要他记得我有来就好，所以我开始做一些奇怪的动作，就是想要被记得。 哦，最古怪的是全身淋湿哒哒，然后他拒绝我，反正我也进不去，我就这样，然后我就走了。我不知道是不是那一次之后，他就更不想让我进去了。不过到第14次的时候，那天我走到门口，护理长离职了。那是我第一次踏进那间诊所，我就碰到那个整形外科医生。那一天我们就成交，他变成我10年的客户，一直到现在。 我才知道，当下不是我的错，当下是因为他们太忙，他们超级辛苦，他们生意太好，不然不可能跟我买10年的货。我才知道，原来我辛苦的时候，那都不算辛苦，他们在里面辛苦，可是我13次我都不知道，所以这是我的心里的心得，哦，这是我的心得，真的是真的，这是真的。所以我开始回想，那这些年来，所以没有拜访超过14次，对我来讲都是小 case， 对不对？因为我心里已经设定了一个拜访14次以上。 我才能创造纪录的一个心态，所以10次、7次，后来发现我要个人家也会来卖我货，对不对？同时我也接受其他药厂卖我货，这时候我才发现，没有人能拜访超过我7次，我也开始拒绝别人，可是没有人超过7次，我才发现哇，我这门槛有点高哎，我碰过最厉害的药厂业务，该不会就是10年前的我吧？我现在想想不是，还是龙哥，他到现在。 还在卖麻辣烫，大家如果连接到龙哥麻辣烫的话，可以捧场一下。哦，他现在很辛苦。哦，40岁了，身边还是会有一些很辛苦的人，除了龙哥以外，另外就是我老婆。大家知道，看我现在在台上这样轻轻松松，就是因为我老婆很辛苦。然后我们今年生了一个现在5个月大的 baby，谢谢。 要去。所以我们如果推 baby 出去的话，其实都是一直在对峙，你会遇到很多敌人，就因为新生儿出来，大家都在信义区秀自己的 baby 嘛。对，然后推车出来之后，你知道吗？信义区要去，你就会等红灯，对面就会出现，跟你一样是3个人，然后3对3，好 PK。老公带老婆，然后前面推车，你想说老公穿很帅吗？一点都不重要，老公根本就是不会被在意的那一个，他就是多余的一个人，他是第6人，你知道吗？就是永远不会上场的。你们以为哦，老公要穿很帅，没有，一点都不重要。对方要看的是什么？一定是先看对方的老婆，一定是看对方的老婆。我老婆在我旁边等红灯，她一定会讲说，她比我胖啊。然后我就赶快search，赶快找哪一个，哦，那一个，哦，那怎么可能那个地方？然后我们就开始过红绿灯了，我们开始要对峙了，对不对？就推，然后接下来要看什么？第2个看的是什么？看对方的婴儿有没有很可爱，对不对？有没有很可爱？然后第3个要看什么？看对方婴儿车的牌子是什么？啊，多么现实的社会！你知道我们在新区教育看过什么样的婴儿车吗？前面有车牌的，太扯！车牌上面还写他婴儿的英文名字 Johnny。我们也有英文名字，我们写 Wayne， 为什么？因为那是我哥哥的儿子的英文名字。我们是2手车，就是要这样 PK。然后我老婆因为带小孩子很累，我们都自己带，我没有请保姆，所以她很累，所以有时候耳根子就比较重。你看懂，他打这样讲嘛，好嘞，然后他就比较听不进去别人讲的话，他讲话呢相对就会变得比较大声。好，我们有一次在电梯里面，也是2台婴儿车，所以6个人好在电梯里面，他以为他在讲悄悄话。你觉得他比我胖吗？超尴尬。然后我就打圆场，你知道吗？身为脱口秀演员，你要即兴。我说，对啊，小孩子很胖很可爱啊。我老婆说，他老婆啦。我只记得我们一起看着那个数字慢慢到达我们的电梯，然后我头也不回抱着儿子冲出去。对，这场已经圆不回来。然后我老婆最近很喜欢跟她的 baby 唱歌，然后唱台语歌。啊，可是因为我老婆她就是你知道，就是有勇气，可是没有那个，对，就是需要加强，所以她唱很大声的台语歌。咿呀咿小，几米大几球。然后唱完的时候，因为不好听，可是唱得很大声，所以我儿子就情绪反应比较激烈，就打了妈妈1巴掌。那很尴尬，我就叫你怎么可以这样子？对，这么像爸爸嘞？你要压抑啊！你是摩羯座，你要压抑啊，对不对？你要做一个有礼貌的小孩，你要爱妈妈嘛，怎么可以有这种反应呢？那有一次我回到家，因为2个人压力都很大，妈妈跟 baby 压力都很大，我进去门一打开，哇，那个哭声啊，2个都在哭。我说怎么了？老婆，好好说好不好？你现在哭得比你儿子还要大声，好好说好吗？那因为2个人都在哭，而且那个场面已经非常的难以收拾，我就要赶快去安抚那个最难安抚、最激动的人，对不对？我就会跟儿子讲说：“你等爸爸一下，等爸爸30分钟的，你要自己处理自己的情绪。”我儿子就是这样长大的，辛苦啊，辛苦的环境。可是我老婆有时候也是有情绪转弯的时候，她有一天就跟我讲说：“老公，我决定我下辈子还要当女人，因为这个生小孩到现在带小孩自己的体会，是你永远都不会懂的。这么珍贵的体验，我下辈子一定要再当女人。”然后我也很坚定的跟我老婆说：“老婆，我下辈子一定也要再当男人，因为那些许许多多的体味，也不是你能够想象的，你永远都不会懂。所以我下辈子一定要再当男人。”我也开始教我小孩子一些事情，体会啊，第一排观众很难搞啊。那我开始教我儿子一些东西，可是我发现，如果这一年告诉他一些中文或者是语言上的事情，他可能没有办法 catch 到，所以我决定把它写成日记。那等他长大以后，等他生日的时候，我把日记送给他，跟他讲他的故事，那也可以提醒我自己记得。那我就第一篇我就开始写，我告诉他说，可是我每一个故事 ending 都是我今天要主要讲的事情，就是第一篇我就写你要很爱你妈妈， 因为你妈妈很伟大，她把你生下来以后养你、照顾你，然后逗你开心，哦，那直到现在，这些一切都做完之后，她还要照顾我，所以你妈妈真的超伟大。那我想儿子到时候长大一定会跟我讲说，那爸爸，如果你今天是妈妈，你也会这样对待我，对不对？我说好，儿子啊，如果今天我是你妈妈，那你一定要很爱你爸爸。然后第二天开始，我就发现，不行，我开始跟脱口秀有点关系，我要教我儿子学会要笑这件事情。对，笑真的太重要。我相信我以后，我一定会叫我儿子来到现场，然后听我讲脱口秀，然后我要想要在台下，然后当一个很称职的观众，要学会笑。可是我刚刚讲，你不要急着上台，因为上台是需要天分，只是你爸爸一直不相信这件事情。然后你要常常笑，你不能偶尔就是很郁闷，你要常常学会笑。为什么？因为现在的人都很吝啬给予对方笑声。对，这个世界变得很无聊，不像你妈妈，你妈妈就常常笑，这就是我最爱她的地方。我们在亲了之后，她都笑翻，就要变鬼，她都以为一切都还没有开始。第三件就是要勇敢的笑，你要勇敢的去笑。为什么？因为勇敢笑表示你愿意接受，因为很多事情不是我们期待的结果。可是如果你勇敢笑出来，表示你愿意接受这个结果，而且愿意接受下一个挑战。讲白一点就是，你可以离开高雄，离开国民党，接受93.9万票。我没有忘词，我没有忘词。我们家生了小孩之后，我们家有漏水的情形，有点严重，那个墙壁开始斑驳，那我就开始要找那个防水师傅来看。然后我们防水师傅来看，我说因为他已经60几岁，这很危险，因为要到外墙外墙如果在4、5楼之间外拔了呀，那太危险，你找别人。然后我就上网找到一个台北蜘蛛人，哇，这个名称根本就是复仇者联盟来的然后我就打电话问他，我说请师傅来这边看。可是打了电话之后2天都没有回应，我已经忘记这件事情了。直到有一天，我突然电话接起来，他说：“杨先生你好，我是蜘蛛人。”我那时候在骑摩托车拜访客户，我说：“你是谁？”我是蜘蛛人。等一下，怎么那么巧？我是钢铁人，你知道吗？我全身上下都是硬的，你知道吗？怎么那么巧？我就想跟他开玩笑，我完全忘记我找了台北蜘蛛人来我们家看防水，完全忘记了。我知道你，所以电话里面的自我介绍非常重要，对不对？那最近我在帮我儿子洗澡的时候，就一通电话打进来，因为我帮儿子洗澡，我就按扩音，电话接起来，护理长就说：“亲爱的，我要给你很多今天订单讲超小声的，那个扩音完全被我老婆听到。以后从那天开始，我洗澡都要开门，她要听我到底在浴室里面都在接什么样的电话。就很多人喜欢叫对方亲爱的，你知道吗？我还有一个采购，他的全名叫张宝贝。你每次要回馈他的订单的时候，你都要电话接起来，都小声讲说：“宝贝。”超奇怪，你在打什么电话？宝贝不是啦，你那个这么宝贝，宝贝。我老婆已经快听不下去了。她说：“你早上一个亲爱的，晚上一个宝贝。”然后我说：“没有，他们2个不是同一个人。”然后老婆说：“那你要叫我什么？你要叫我什么？你说啊！”我说：“老婆，你当然是亲爱的宝贝。”然后老婆就打我一巴掌。谢谢他，我是 Q 猫，谢谢。各位好，我是 Q 猫。今天啤酒1罐本来原价是100今天特价66，不要问我为什么还有一个优惠就是现场，因为有蚊子我不管你们有没有看到蚊子，反正就是有打到1只蚊子就来后面换1罐啤酒所以现在你面前飞的不是蚊子，是啤酒
大家好，我是今晚节目表演者大可爱。跟大家分享一下，今天如果是第一次来唱脱口秀的话，我会这样跟他们介绍：脱口秀其实就很像是一个密室逃脱，就是如果台上的人讲得好的话，你就会陷在他的那个笑话里面就出不来；可是如果台上的人讲得不好，你就会想说，可不可以逃离这个空间？对，我觉得很像密室逃脱的感觉。那为什么我今天要办这个呢？因为我觉得 个人秀跟结婚很像，就是台下就是做想来看你的人或是一些亲友。那我距离结婚又离下辈子这么远，所以我得办个个人秀来见大家哦。那今天你们入场的时候，或是你们买票的时候，就已经算红包钱了。好不好？可是那个红包钱，如果你们觉得太不符合你们的身价也没有关系，等一下私底下塞个3600给我也是 OK 的，就觉得哦，我的身价值3600 ，OK 的这样哦。那这次呢，我卖票有一个特别的特点，就是我特地开放了胖子召集令这个票。那想请问一下，今天有没有拿胖子召集令进来的胖子？哦，这位很符合哈。那还有后面还有没有？有5张卖完，然后只有1个人举手，是怎么回事？大家想装瘦子吗？举手一下，举手一下。好吧，就让你们当瘦子，就让你们当瘦子哈。不过我真的非常希望今天来的这些跟我一样胖子同胞们，可以得到一些快乐哦。因为我们通常在人群中，通常都会是带给大家欢笑、带给大家温暖的。那我希望今天你们也可以获得，也给他们掌声。不过大家好像会觉得胖子都长得很像，所以他们刚刚不出来相认也是好的，不然等一下我们3个连在一起，他就消失了这样。也有点恐怖哈。之前我前一阵子我的脸书上多了很多泰国人加我好友，我不知道为什么。后来我发现，原来他们是把我跟快乐宝拉给搞错了。萨瓦迪卡，科普卡。还有一次，我走在路上，有个可能路人他就认出我说，我好像知道你是谁。我说，哦，你有看过我表演吗？他说。然后我就问他说：“你可以叫出我的名字吗？”他就说：“给我想一下，我一定想得起来。”我说：“哦，好，那我提示你一个字，大。”他说：“我知道了，你是很爱演那个蛇丸，对不对？”那我就只好配合他。哇塞，我说嗨就嗨。结果他后来就打卡说他碰到蛇丸，我不知道他的朋友有没有被他骗到这样。不过我们大家对于胖子都会有一些自己的问题，比如说像前一阵子我去接受一个校园的采访。然后他们本来是要问我脱口秀相关的问题，结果我一坐下来，他们就问我说：“请问一下，你的胖是先天的还是后天的？”我回答他：“我的胖是每天的，没有一天不胖。”而且我们跟一般的人沟通，偶尔会出现一些很奇怪的互动。比如说有一次我走在路上，就有个阿姨走过来说：“来弟，我根本不认识她。”她就说：“来，这个粽子给你吃。”啊？为什么要给我粽子？然后就说没有，我跟你讲，这我自己做的，很难吃，就给你吃吧。这样，我想说，阿姨真的很谦虚耶，为了把粽子给我，然后还说自己做的粽子很难吃，这样。就我回到家，我马上就吃，打开，干真他妈难吃。这么难吃的东西你就把它丢掉好不好？不要浪费大家生命嘛。不过我觉得大家对于胖子吃的印象都蛮严苛的。比如说，我大学的时候，严凯泰先生曾经到我们学校来演讲，然后就说，如果你们连吃都没有办法控制，那你们还能控制些什么？我不知道，可能控制不要跟你一样得食道癌。稍微测试一下大家这个底线，今天在哪里？这样不会再比这个更糟糕了。这样 ，OK， 好。不过跟大家讲，其实我觉得如果这种严苛的印象再多一点，就会变成霸凌。然后我非常讨厌某一种新闻会这样写，就是这个胖子被霸凌之后瘦下来变成正妹或帅哥。大家不觉得这个新闻就是在鼓励霸凌胖子吗？对不对？然后就是他们就会觉得好像是霸凌你是为了你好，所以我通常碰到这种状况呢，我都是挺过霸凌，维持我自己的体型，千万不可以让他们觉得得逞嘛，对不对？再者说，你好不容易吃到这么胖，你怎么可以轻易的被世界改变呢？所以你只要减肥就是一种逃避。我觉得这边值得一个掌声。不过有些弱势或是一些疾病的状态，政府啊或是一些民间机构都会帮忙做事情。我最近看到一个新闻，叫做失智咖啡厅，它主要是帮助失智的那个人的机构呢，他们在6日的时候开了一咖啡厅，主要希望能够训练他们能够复健啊，或是给他们一些机会这样子。然后我就仔细想了想，好像所有的疾病都可以做类似的事情就是让他们有个可以上班的机会，比如说。像那个强迫症清洁公司，你不觉得会被清得很干净吗？你的家里，或者是那种恋童癖幼稚园，没有，你的小孩会被好好的照顾，好好的爱着，好不好？可是呢，我跟大家说， 我们还是有防堵机制的，就是只要看到那个就是照护员哦，在照顾小孩的时候不小心勃起了，我们就电击他，感觉可以防堵他一下这样。大家可能这一段就会觉得有点歧视或干嘛，但我讲这段不是为了歧视，而是我必须跟大家讲说，我觉得歧视就像是一种性欲，它必须要适当的被释放出来之后，它才不会去伤害别人。所以我最近有想要开一间店，叫做歧视专卖店，专门贩卖一些歧视，然后我们会请那些弱势族群来上班，跟他们说，反正你们平常就会被笑了，跟他们收钱，跟他们收钱，你至少会有所获得嘛。然后我就想说，如果半小时600块，他如果想要歧视胖子的话，然后我可以自己接客这样，然后可能比如说台北市长柯文哲来，他就说，这个我是觉得你有点像比较大号的韩国瑜啦，或者是还是吴音宁呢？随便他讲，他只要给我钱就好。不过我觉得他最特别的事情是就是他不需要找弱势族群来让他消费，他只要跟一个女生正常对谈，就会有一些歧视可以收费了，这样蛮多的。那如果你觉得有点想要歧视比较缺德一点的，比如说像你想要歧视失智症，那我们半小时300块就好。那我说为什么会比较便宜？因为失智症讲完他就忘记了，是没有关系的哈。好，那刚刚讲到恋童癖，我觉得现在这个恋童癖会不会很难生存啊？因为现在小孩变得很讨厌，对吧？他们怎么生存得下来啊？怎么可以喜欢上现在的小孩？不可能嘛，对不对？而且我那种感觉是我自己去偏乡上课带活动的时候，比如说我要教他们说使用法定度量衡单位，就是比如说公升啊、公斤啊这种，然后又跟他们讲说，这个度量衡概念，我们通常就是秦始皇统一度量衡这件事情。可是我们一开始我们上课问的时候，然后我就会说，请问一下，你们知道秦始皇统一什么吗？就有小朋友举手说台湾，然后说我爷爷说快要被统一了，这样，我想说，哇靠，他到底生长在什么样的家庭里面？可是现在小孩的问题不完全是小孩的问题，是父母也有极大的责任。比如说我们去外面吃饭的时候，只要看到小孩在那边跑来跑去，父母都一定是没有事在那边滑手机，是怎样？把你的小孩当放置型手游在玩，是不是？但我必须跟大家说，我就是我妈的放置型手游，放着放着自己就长那么大了，这样子。好，不过这样听了起来，我应该是非常讨厌小孩的吧？所以我跟大家讲，如果你要我跟小孩共处一室，或是跟蟑螂共处一室的话，我会选择蟑螂，因为蟑螂至少可以踩死。你们没有想到今天话题会这么重，是不是？好，来讲点轻松的哈。有人就说你不要那么 T 因为呢，说不定哪天你会突然有自己的小孩。然后我就说，如果我突然有自己的小孩，我会不知道该教他什么，因为很多正常的事情好像都没有那么合理。比如说，我们教他们端午节的习俗好了，你要怎么教小孩说我们为了不要让他去吃屈原的尸体，然后我们就丢那个粽子进去，为什么不是丢鱼饲料？为什么？然后你们可能说那时候可能没有特定的鱼饲料，我想说好，但你们为什么要假装鱼可以自己解开那个粽绳？这样，然后就那个他好不容易把粽绳解开，他吞进去，然后鱼就噎死了。说不定对那个时候来说，海龟之于吸管，就对于那时候的汨罗江的鱼之于众神啊。然后到底是多久之后，然后才会突然我说，我们不要再把粽子丢到水里面好不好？我觉得粽子蛮好吃的。我就觉得不要这样玩食物比较好啦哈。跟大家分享一下，我今年过年的时候，我爸抱回来一瓮佛跳墙，然后我就说，爸，这是佛跳墙好。然后我们就吃完之后，我就跟他说，爸，我觉得去年好像比较好吃。我爸说，怎么可能？这就是去年的佛跳墙。所以我今年的过年放了一整年的佛跳墙超级可怕哈。不过讲到美食这件事情，最近好像因为 YouTube 的黄标事件，然后大家就比较不敢拍一些比较争议性的东西，就开始跑回来拍美食跟开箱。可是我觉得拍的好像又有点粗制滥造，因为常会看到一些很奇怪的美食影片的标题。我上次看到一个连在地人都不知道的隐藏版美食，我说连在地人都不知道，那你藏得太好了吧？后来我点进去看，发现它是蛮难吃的，难怪连在地人都不知道它是美食。或者是他们形容口感长得越来越粗糙了，比如说他们会讲说， 哇，这个东西真的是入口即化，或者是啊，这个东西真的是好吃到我都不知道说什么了。你本来就不知道自己要说什么，你本来就不知道。还有一次我碰到一个女主持，我看到她这边试吃，她说啊，这个店家的生菜真的是好软嫩哦，是不新鲜的意思吧？你要不要搞清楚你讲东西的口感？然后刚刚提到年夜饭这件事情，这几年好像大家都，比如说除夕夜的时候，都会被年夜饭的那个照片给洗版嘛。哦，我今年也是，可是我每次看到，我都不是想说你家吃的多丰盛，或你家吃的多温馨，我每次看到就想说，哦，你们家接下来1个礼拜都吃这些东西哈，大家吃这些吧。或者是他们会就是比如说开始 po 红包的照片，那我问一下，今年还有拿红包的妈妈举下手？耶，跟我一样，哇，只有你一个啊，哇，太棒了，好，我今年也有拿到红包，然后我爸是有个蛋书说，啊，在我他会给我到结婚的那一年为止，然后我就说 yes， 我可以领到死了，yes， 啊，可是每次过年的时候，我都会看到一种新闻，就是他们会出租男女友回家过年这件事情，我觉得这种出租真的是非常不符合成本效益，我觉得要出租，直接出租小孩，哦，去跟那个亲戚们要红包，感觉比较直接嘛。而且他们也就是你今年跟明年租的人不一样，也没有关系，他们认不出来。而且他们也省略了掉，他们问你说要不要找女朋友啊、结婚啊、生小孩，一次都解决了。大家今年还有在被问长辈问题的吗？他们帮我举下手。哇，大家你都被放弃了是不是？我自己是这样，我就返回去问我说，就问我长辈说，你怎么都不问我这些问题啊？说没有希望的事情干嘛要问？可是我仔细想想，其实就比如说，这个东西会不会其实根本就像学长学弟制一样？就是我们在学弟的时候就想说，我不要变成会问那种问题的老人。可是等到我们变成学长、变成长辈的时候，我管你的，我长辈，我爱怎么问怎么问。所以我今年我还是有问亲戚的小孩说，考得怎么样啊？那你念哪间大学啊？还是有问这样。可是会不会是因为我们太过年轻？就是比如说，如果等到我们真的变成长辈之后，就不 care 这件事情，可能对于长辈来说，过年它就会变成是一种马拉松，就是他们可能会想说啊，今年巷口的黄先生脱队了，或者是我那次陪我奶奶去拜访那个对面的那个阿公的时候，他就跟那个阿公讲说，哎呀，你看起来真的是很健康啊，哪像我都有癌症跟糖尿病啦。然后说啊，你那没什么，癌症糖尿病我也有啊，我还有多了肾衰竭呢，都快变成一条 bingo 了。那我就在想，这样的 bingo 游戏可以玩吗？然后我就在想说，如果我们在养老院的那种气氛团康的那个气氛里面，我们就发那个 bingo 纸下去，让他们写说，你们可以写说你们身上有多少的病痛这样子，然后就听到大家开始玩 bingo 说。癌症打圈，糖尿病打圈，肾衰竭打圈，子宫颈癌啊我没有子宫啦，啊怎么可以没有子宫啦？大家都有，只有我没有这样。然后真的好不容易 bingo 了，然后第一个人因为太开心了，然后就心脏病死掉了，太开心了。然后你可能就觉得这东西太静态了，没有关系，我们玩一些比较动态的，我们还是可以癌症，糖尿病，肾衰竭。跟他们一起玩这个游戏啊，感觉蛮动感的这样。我会讲这个主要是因为现在人口老化真的是非常非常严重，我们生活当中会碰到的老人越来越多了。像我刚刚搭捷运过来，然后我一坐下来，旁边就有个老先生，我就看到他在滑那个老人机，他在传赖，那个字体超大的有没有？然后看到他打字说，旁边的胖子还真好意思跟我抢不爱坐。然后我就看到我就说，对。我要做啊，不行吗？不过我觉得这个时代已经给老人贴太多标签了。那我想把他们撕下其中一个标签来，就是老人才看电视这件事情。我觉得应该就是一个世代交替的问题。比如说，可能等到我们老了，可能我们也还在看 YouTube， 然后年轻人看下一个世代的媒体嘛，也有可能啊，对不对？可是如果我们现在的 YouTuber 拍到老，不知道会变成怎么样。比如说像这群人。可能拍成这群老人，还在拍说过年会问什么长辈问题，或是理科太太， 会变成理科老太太，还在拍跟理科完全没有关系的东西，不知道为什么。还有比如说伯恩站起来，那时候可能得请伯恩坐下来，坐在躺椅上，哎，伯恩爷爷说故事喽。或者是退休不要看，拍呱吉选总统吧。不过我觉得最厉害的可能还是九妹，九妹可能拍到90妹了，她还是在拍开箱。究竟是平价的养老院亲切，还是奢华的养老院舒服呢？那我们看看这集就是要养老。如果刚刚都提到老了，如果我们再往后退一点，比如说我们到了我们这一代开始有告别式这件事情的时候，我们这代问题很多，告别式不知道会变成怎么样。比如说我们的孙子孙女在绕那个棺木的时候，可能就会讲说，哎呀，你看奶奶年轻的时候一定有去整过胸部，她现在躺在棺木里面，胸部还超挺的，超恶心。或者是那个孙子绕的时候，然后他就说，爷爷糖尿病中的人工阴茎现在还躺在棺木里面勃起啊，真的是太恐怖了。哦，大概可能会变成这个样子。不过其实我已经想好我自己的告别式要做什么了。我的告别式呢，我会就是请大家都先做好，时间到了就做好，然后我会放投影幕。然后我不是放我的表演哦，我是有些话想要跟大家说。谢谢大家今天的到来哈。那个今天天气有点不好，不过谢谢大家来，你们对我来说都非常重要。那你们既然都来了，那你们要不要一起下来陪我？炸弹倒数5、4、3、2、1，嘣！隔天新闻就是一个告别式造成更多告别式，这样我就会被记得了。然后大家有没有觉得有死后的世界这件事情？我在想，如果有死后的世界这件事情，我们是不是要早点开始投资？所以我这几年的中元节开始帮自己烧一些纸钱啊、车子啊、房子啊。我不希望等到我死后，跟现在一样什么都没有。先投资嘛，投资理财有赚有赔嘛。对，那个我确定是会收到的，希望会收到这样。我小时候第一次觉得有死后的世界是我看台湾灵异事件，大家还记得台湾灵异事件吗？对不对？我前一阵子我发现那个华视的 YouTube 频道，它有上传全套的在上面，然后我就回去看了。我看了第1集之后，我才发现原来他们的创作目的是为了匡正社会风气，告诉大家做坏事是不会有好下场这样。我小时候看的时候，我以为他只是在告诉大家说，没有阴阳眼，警察是不会办案的。我本来是这样以为啦。不过我印象非常深刻的一集是，距今29年前，有个日本的女观光客来台湾，她到高雄去玩，叫井口真理子的命案。她现在已经过了29年了，她比较可怜的事情是，她到现在她被分尸的头颅还没有找到。然后，可是这不是我对那集印象最深刻的部分。我对那集最深刻的印象是，他们找钮承泽来演性侵他的司机。然后我觉得哇，好哈扣哦。哇塞！我本来以为他演得很好哎，长大之后发现他做自己啊！这样哇，演得超好的，不知道为什么。不过希望他已经在这29年已经投胎了啦，不然真的是太煎熬、太折磨了。说到投胎，我其实非常希望我下辈子可以投胎成一个正面或帅哥，因为这个时代给长相好看的人太多的利多、太多的好处了。比如说像我前阵看到一个新闻标题，他就写板桥帅交警神4颗震动，然后下面一堆人就留言说啊，求上铐，求上铐，求上铐。我不知道改天可能有帅哥礼仪师就开始求助练，可能会有吧。那如果比如说正妹在这个时代的利多就更多了，那他们的权力到底可以大到什么程度呢？我不禁设想了一下，如果我们的县市首长全部都是正妹呢？听起来没有很吸引人，然后可能大家就想说不可能啦，他们什么都不懂啦，他们不懂政治啦。但我请大家想一下，如果我们都能在蓝绿的恶斗下活了这么久，难道我们真的没有办法接受长得好看但对我们没有坏心的人统治我们吗？对不对？说不定一切都会开始步上轨道，无为而治哦。比如说整个那个城市都是这个正妹市长的工具人，然后这 那个城市建设会加速完成哦，感觉很就是感觉很可口吧这个东西。而且最厉害的事情是，我们以后就不需要税金了，我们直接看市长的直播抖内就可以了。哇，那抖内的很开心，税金几十万这样出去，超开心的这样哦。不过，哎，如果再大一点讲，如果正妹变成总统呢？我觉得直接解决我们最近一直在断招的问题嘛。谁不想跟正妹当朋友啊？感觉多很多啊！而且我给大家一个想法，就是你们现在想得到的，国外的男性元首，是不是浮上来第一个就是第一个脸，是不是都觉得变态的？说不定这些正妹我们就可以，我们如果台湾是一个正妹国家，就会开始悠游于这些大哥跟大姐姐的这种国家里面，然后我们就会被好好保护啊，我们就可以跟美国说。美国哥哥，你看中国哥哥他啦，一直对人家毛手毛脚的，一直想把我拉回他家干什么东西，这样就会被好好的照顾嘛。所以看来大家的反应还不错，我好像可以开始联署了。我联署一个党叫正妹无法党，感觉不错，感觉可以联署了。哦，不过我觉得这东西很有趣的事情是。因为以前呢，我们是听喜剧演员搞笑，听政治人物讲政治，然后我们现在是听政治人物在搞笑，听喜剧演员在讲政治这件事情。那前一阵子大家一定都知道嘛，就是乌克兰选了那个喜剧演员当总统这件事情。我想说这有什么？我们高雄也有一个啊，而且正在想要试图选总统啊，对不对？可是我在想，真的选上之后，我不知道他们的国民生活不知道会不会变得跟以前不太一样。比如说今天总统记者会完，一堆国民就在那边讨论说。我觉得今天总统讲的比较不好笑胖雪好像没有中这样，在那边讨论，或者是总统今天开完记者会说，我们国家要完蛋了，他们说哦这个笑点不错，这笑点可能不错。不过连喜剧演员都可以选上总统，我自己是觉得啦，就真的是有命运这件事情，我觉得是有的。然后我就想到之前我听到的一句话，条条大路通罗马啊，只不过人一出生他就住在罗马。大概是这样。不过我自己有被说过，我是一个很不平凡的人。我小时候，我妈妈带我去她有修行的朋友那边看，然后她就看我之后，她就跟我说，哦，这个，你儿子是活佛转世我说哇靠，活佛转世，我果然不是普通人，我跟你们这些凡夫俗子不一样。我长大之后才发现，我跟佛唯一的共同点就是，我们都不会跟凡人结合。好，顺这个话题，我们来跟大家聊聊单身这件事情。我觉得单身是一种病，我不是说单身人有病，我是说单身其实是一种病症。因为呢，大家一定都会有突然在某个时刻就是好寂寞，不知道该怎么办，全世界好像只剩下我一个人。那个时候，我通常称那种时候为猛爆性单身。这个病其实是一直非常危险的哈。那很多人可能就会觉得单身没有什么，单身很好啊，那是因为你还没有发病。然后可能有些人会为了躲避这些病症他们可能躲进一段关系，比如说去交往、结婚、生小孩，但它并不代表你不会发病它只是进入一种潜伏期。然后等到你突然哪天他又病发的时候，你就觉得两个人好像不如一个人的快乐然后你又恢复单身，然后又开始不断的发病这样。所以我觉得，与其说人生来就孤独，我觉得应该是说人生来无法摆脱猛爆性单身的这个病症。这段很沉重，没关系，我就是要听大家的那个感觉好，然后就有人在那边讲说，你不要每次在那边讲自己单身，我介绍女生给你认识嘛，你到底喜欢怎么样的女生？我说其实这件事情我自己也不太明白他说那我问你，你喜欢长头发的女生吗？我喜欢的女生如果头发很长，我就喜欢长头发的女生。那你喜欢腿很长的女生吗？我喜欢的女生如果腿很长，我就喜欢长腿的女生嘛。那你喜欢大胸部的女生吗？喜欢。喜欢。你们会觉得奇怪，为什么我自己有胸部还是喜欢大胸部的女生？可是有些东西真的是长在自己身上不算，要长在对方身上才算的。不过我其实虽然这样讲，我自己一个人还是过得蛮开心。我会去做一些很多一个人的事情，比如说大家有一个人去吃过海底捞吗？我这边好像变成跟大家挑衅，你有一个人去吃过海底捞吗？有。没有，我跟大家分享，一个人去吃海底捞其实是会有特殊服务的，你知道吗？当你一坐下来之后，他们就会在你对面放一个恐龙娃娃，然后我本来没有 觉得我很寂寞，他一放我觉得好寂寞。我对面坐一个娃娃他帮我放，然后他就说不好意思，因为你自己一个人来，所以我放一只这样在这边陪您吃饭。陪我吃饭啊？那这样我必须要跟他说话吗？那是您的自由啦。吐槽我啊！不要觉得我很奇怪一样啊，什么东西啊？不过我跟大家说，就是我在点餐的时候，我觉得台湾的一些菜名还是有一些蛮奇怪的地方，比如说现在还有在叫大陆妹这件事情，其实就是比较歧视的叫法嘛。可是我跟大家说，我后来去查，农委会已经把它改名成福山莴苣了，改一个完全不想吃的名字，叫什么福山莴苣？叫福山雅治，大家比较想吃吧？还是我们整个反过来，我们全部都用一视同仁，我们都用女性歧视来命名蔬菜，比如说刚刚讲的那个大陆妹就来福山莴苣，然后比如说我们叫韩国辣妹就来高丽菜，然后宜兰阿嬷就来地瓜叶，感觉蛮符合那个 image 的。说到名字这件事情，我对于另外一个词还非常感冒，就是外遇这件事情。大家不觉得外遇这个字太过中性了吗？好像不知道到底发生多严重的事情。我觉得外遇可以改成叫做，我就是老二养跑去嘟别人。我不觉得好像就是真的知道它的严重性在哪。那如果女生的话呢，就叫做冷风吹进我的洞。跟感觉就是他们真的因为做了些什么嘛，对不对？感觉就是比较合理。不过虽然这样讲，我这辈子大概是大家都外遇，我是唯一不会外遇的人，因为它代表要有同时2个人喜欢我。大概是这样子。不过有些人拿到太多，有些人想要的就拿到太少。我前一阵子我在一个小吃店吃晚餐，然后我在那边吃炒饭，就看到那个电视在播那个新闻，它是讲一个情侣，然后男生跟女生交往7年，结果男生跑去娶别的女生，然后那女生非常生气的把那男的分尸做成了炒饭送给他的邻居吃。然后我当下听到，我想说，哇靠，真的变渣男了耶！真的是渣男哎！然后可是我想说，我刚好在吃炒饭这该不会是哪一个渣男呢？老板今天怎么没有上班？觉得危险，不过大家都会有自己的感情问题啊，不一定你会走到那么极端嘛。我记得有一次我去朋友家里，然后我在朋友 A 跟朋友 B 在那边诉苦说人家最近跟一个聊天聊得很开心，聊了1个多月的女生，她突然就不理我了，不知道为什么。然后朋友 B 就是说，没有关系啦，说明他只是比较忙，没有回你而已啊，你不要太紧张。但我在旁边已经洞悉了一切，我就跟他说，朋友 A 我跟你说，其实你的状况很简单，就是那个女生找到更好的男生不理你而已嘛。我说喂，大可爱，你这样子讲就不对哦，虽然好像又有点道理，可是我没有想到听你讲对我有感情建议耶，你毕竟没有交过女朋友啊。然后我就说，你自己搞清楚你的逻辑啊，可能交往后的问题我没有办法给你什么建议，可你刚刚讲的是你被拒绝啊，叫2声前辈来听听啊，搞什么鬼？你现在因为长得好看，现在才碰到这种事情，我从小就开始遇到了。而且呢，你当备胎是不是？我连备胎都不是啊，我是换备胎的千斤顶啊。我们朋友都这样相处的。不过有时候朋友之间会开始就是有些问题会问对方嘛。有一次，前一阵子万安演习的时候，就有朋友私讯我说，万安演习是不是蒋万安出来指挥啊？我说当然不是啊。可是我回去看到他的脸书，他还是 po 文说，今天万安叫的好大声哦，羞。我不知道他到底想了什么，我不知道。对。然后有些时候我们会把朋友当作百科全书在问，比如说有一次我就问朋友说，因为我有一个非常长期失眠的问题，我就问他说有没有什么方法？他说你可以去就是抓那个就是听那个什么白噪音我不知道大家知道白噪音，反正我后来去抓了白噪音，就是搭配睡眠听，然后我听了很多，比如说下雨的啦、下雪的啦。还有那个连续吹风机吹10个小时的啦，然后我真的我听吹风机吹到2个小时的时候，我就起来把我家的那个吹风机给砸掉了，不想睡了，气死我这样。后来我发现下雨的白噪音对我来说非常有效，然后朋友就说，那你要不要搬去基隆？他们那边的白噪音是关不掉的，他们每天都睡得超级好这样。我说好，我理解这样。
要挑战什么题材？
想挑战瘦子的题材。
成为脱口秀演员的契机是什么？
我大学刚毕业的时候，在 PTT Drama 版上面看到了一个甄选的文章哦，然后它上面就问了一句说：“你想像金凯瑞一样吗？”诈骗。
96晚间的脱口秀争霸战 B 组的比赛现在正式开始，让我们欢迎今晚的节目主持人大可爱。
耶！大家好，我是